Hi everybody, welcome to Proving Grounds 28. Apparently we don't have much time to discuss anything because teams are starting the room and they're going to be playing right away. But yeah, we're here. It's Proving Grounds 28. I'm Debbie, and I'm here with Siren tonight. Hi Siren, how are you?
I'm terrible, thank you for asking. How are you?
Oh no, great start. You were supposed to, lie this time around, but honesty, bravo for honesty. So I guess, yeah, as things are getting rapidly loaded up here, we have Lightbloom versus Foul Play. Any take on these teams, Siren?
I'll be straight with you. I'll continue to be honest. I recognize absolutely nobody in this lobby. Not a single person. Hoping to change that by the end of the next 25 minutes or so.
Usually happens. I know I came across a couple of these players the other night in Sendoku, actually. So that was pretty cool. Hornet was rocking the dually squelchers and shot, so that was pretty nice. Very solid on the front line. But here we go, and Twice is another familiar name that I can remember off the top of my head, but me being the ancient person I have been in the community lately. Here we go!
I mean, I could recognize Twice, maybe. I think I've seen them before. But yes, on with the match, I suppose. Looking at... I can't even call this standard, unless I guess you're looking at Foul Play. That's... No, that's a stretch. Alright, so some unique stuff. We're getting right into it. This is Inkblot, the old Uge. Definitely in that stage of the game right now where both teams are trying to feel out the opponent and try and win this initial fight to get them some leeway, some leverage, some snowball. More words for a rapid, non-linear growth in the game. I don't know.
With how things are right now, going off of let's take the opening of this game. Finally, the neutral phase is done. It looks like Foul Play able to get an advantage, two-person advantage. As we can see, Twice moving up to take the plat here with Oreo. Looks like Oreo does go down. Whale comes out from Twice. Look at everybody from Lightbloom is up on the same side, and I'm pretty sure that is noted. I should say from Foul Play was up on the same side. Backwards, reverse brain. It's a Friday night. Oh my goodness, what is happening? Anywho, Lightbloom did defend. and they are pushing back into middle here. And you were mentioning how the comps, there was some like uniqueness and all that. The nice thing about the comps these days is that really you can see anything, and it's kind of cool. You don't see like just a traditional 4 weapons constantly, and of course Foul Play does have more of those traditional weapons. Lightbloom having a couple of them as well, like the pencil and the shot. But both have weapons that can go alongside each other, especially on TC Inkblot. So even just going off of comps, like each team has a plan in mind. Usually they know what they're going to roll with here, and they can pretty much do the same things as what they want to get done when it comes to pushing back into middle, taking over the bats. We see cooler drinks going out here, but a lot of time this game being spent in middle. We had that brief little push by Foul Play, but already a good amount of time has passed, and we are just maintaining mid here.
Yeah, neither teams are really going to have much of a push to lean on right now. That's basically this first checkpoint range there. And you're right with calling out how these comps are somewhat standard as well. And I do want to make note, as you know, I had some time to ponder while you were mentioning that. And in reality here, what we're looking at is both of these teams have the elements of what we consider standard right now, just maybe in forms that we're not so much used to, as far as like the specific weapon slots entirely. So that's kind of what threw me away at first, but now I'm just seeing, yeah, this is just, you know, like you go to the store and you can't quite afford the brand name cereal. This is what you get. Not in a bad way, though.
What happened here, Siren? I don't know if you see what happened here, but we got Lightbloom had come back and taken the lead, and I don't know if you noticed, but the staggered specials were appearing. They had the cooler out. Hornet launched a pretty solid Zuka, picking one off on the foot, clam, mushroom, whatever you want to call it, and managed to get a 3-down scenario. So they are cruising with this tower. We see the 3 members, actually all 4 members of Foul Play are just trying to get around this tower here. We see this 1v1 Stu versus Twice. It looks like Twice ends up going down. One has to jump back. Members of Lightbloom are just in the face of Foul Play right now. We have the pencil just pushing people back, the Inkjet trying to do the same in return, but nothing's really stopping the pencil right now from taking over a lot of that open area, and is now pushing the tower with the blaster underneath, so can still just poke up. You can see how they're spacing themselves back, like they're pushing the tower to as far as they can and then pushing back. Going back and forth, adjusting to how Foul Play is moving in towards them to try to defend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can see here Foul Play starting to recover from that, but a lot of that damage has been done already. That push down to 6 was quite intense from Lightbloom there. And that staggering of the specials was really integral to that. A lot of that time waiting in mid while we had that sort of long period of not a lot happening was just sort of waiting for the right momentum to swing in their favor, getting the right picks and having the specials ready, and, you know, just the stars aligning for them in that point in time. And when that happens, oh boy, does it hurt. So that's going to be the biggest challenge for Foul Play for the rest of this game, is seeing whether or not they can replicate that. But, you know, rest of this game, that's rather bold terms when we're looking at 14 seconds left. So they don't really have many options right now. They're going to have to start moving towards that tower. Only the Gal seems to be quite that close to it, but of course they're going to have to be the one making the aggressive plays right now. And are they going to get on long enough to get on that tower? That is going to be a wipeout synchronized with the end of the game there.
Yeah, we can see Twice was trying to find a way to clear the tower path ahead, but meanwhile Lightbloom was like, let's approach them from the other side, and actually pulled them away from the tower path, and took the fight towards what to their advantage in a way. It's of course one of the ways that you don't see very often when it comes to defending, because usually you want to be in front of the objective. I think they still did have one near there, but majority of Lightbloom actually came out on that left-hand side and took fights over by that stack and towards the wing area, while the 52, while Twice was over on their left for Foul Play, so it'd be Lightbloom's right, just trying to keep that side. But in the end, Lightbloom was able to take down the other 3 members of Foul Play from that side, and ended up getting the wipe at the very end.
Yeah. definitely putting a lot of weight on one end of that map, and it paying off for them quite strongly. And it is very viable on that map in particular as well, because there's just not that many angles you can take that fight from on Inkblot. And you know, normally like on something like Zones, okay, maybe you can go the far other direction and drop off the other side of the map, or you know, go some different angle for that. But you know, that tower is just moving towards you. There's no changing where that direction comes from, so you don't really have the time to be messing around and coming off from all these different angles. You kind of already have to know to be there, and that's what made that push so successful for Lightbloom in that instance.
It was really good, and Lightbloom was winning a good number of their fights. They were staggering their specials. And of course, I've come across a good number of Lightbloom's players recently, so I've seen what they are able to do. They were definitely synergizing really well when they got the advantage they needed. When they defended, they came out as a unit, pushed as a unit, and really knew where they needed to be and when. Like I said earlier, match, they were moving up and keeping aggression when they could. They backed up when they knew that specials were going to come at them, and they stayed alive for as long as possible, and they managed to get that really good push. But now we are moving on to Museum here, and it looks like comps are still going to be relatively the same, although Fizney is going to bring out the vanilla splatter scope over the pencil this time, which we do see in some Rainmaker maps for that vacuum play.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that sort of thing will come out. I don't know if you remember or are aware of this, because I forgot about this until I saw a clip a while ago. Do you know if that one glitch on one side of the map still works on this map, where you like pick up the Rainmaker and then like jump in a corner or something and it gives you a bunch of points?
I don't remember that, or if it was thing at one point in time. I must have missed it entirely. But anywho, it looks like Lightbloom able to get actually no, that is the other way around. It was Foul Play who got the first push off here, but Lightbloom right back in the face of Foul Play and just immediately snapped it back. It's just like that quick reflex like you usually see on clam baskets when they go back and forth. This just happened on Rainmaker, and of course they are using that vacuum play, and the vac shot just going over, but was in a nice spot if the other members were able to push it back into that where that shot landed. That would have been a solid play there, but it looks like 3 down. On the side of Lightbloom, Foul Play does have the advantage. They're going to take back mid here, and 2 of them are already on the other side of the map, making sure that they can get control of the plat there as much as possible. But suction bombs away in front of that pedestal.
Oh my gosh, this POV from Twice right now is making me nervous, because that killer whale I thought was going to spot out the person who was watching this top right side of the map on behalf of Lightbloom. But I don't think that quite got noticed as much, and we did see off screen a couple members of Foul Play going down and ultimately ending that push. But I do believe they were actually able to get the checkpoint this time, so that is a huge roadblock out of their way. You know, from here on out, it's just a matter of how are we going to top 37. It's a little difficult on this map. With the amount of trades and these team fights that both teams have been taking so far, I think it's very possible that, you know, the second one of these teams slips up, that is very realistic.
Yeah, both of these teams are relatively neutrals. We see a lot of the fights and most of like the time being spent in the middle of these maps. Like the last game, there was a lot of action just happening in the middle of the map. It took a while to get a solid push. Here on Rainmaker, we got the early pushes, but now we're in the middle of the game, and so are the players. They're in the middle of the map.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot of defensive plays. It's very aggressive from both ends, as we see Lightbloom here taking initiative to grab that Rainmaker, pop that vac. Once again, that crab is going to be coming out and trying to deal with anyone who's fighting against that vac. That Izuka's going to come out and shred that crab. However, just adding onto their push a little bit further, getting it even more up that ramp is going to ultimately help them in the end of the game, but it's just going to be that 52 gal. They're able to stop it on their own. Are they going to be able to get the pick on a Hornet? They get the trade at the very least, and that is just going to be the charger on the side of Lightbloom, so that should be the very end of the push, but making it to 3 is a pretty dang big deal on this map. Like, that is like climbing up half the pedestal. That is essentially a knockout.
Twice coming up with the clutch play there to help prevent that knockout indeed. And Lightbloom, the coordination on that special push was absolutely amazing with the Vac, the Crab. They had one taking the Rainmaker and one was even pushed up ahead of it a bit. Solid play there that you can't really do too much of unless if you can shred like the vacuum early, but there's a Crab in the way. Anyway, it looks like Oreo managed to get a double here. The Whale is out. They are spotted. There's a minute left in this game. The Charger does go down. It looks like they're trying to fight somebody up on that top right. But it looks like that top right person is able to pick off Twice. That would be Snoo. Looks like Snoo does go down. And it looks like Hornet coming around the side here, able to pick the Rainmaker, and we see a fight being taken on the side, but now, it looks like Hornet not able to win that fight. But under 40 seconds to go. Foul Play do have the Rainmaker in an all-right spot right now, but there is still people shooting down at them, so they still have to get up the ramp. They have to grab see if they can get the Rainmaker to go ahead, but it looks like it's going to be set back into middle there. And Vacuum goes out, and Lightbloom here just trying to stall it out as much as possible. Inkjet and Zuka already are on the side of Foul Play, so they do have an opportunity to maybe start it, but it looks like the Zap getting picked by that Vacuum shot. 2 go down on the side Lightbloom. It is just Fisney left. Twice is trying to just lead up here, and we see the members go in, but the Rainmaker was not grabbed in time.
It was a very rough position there because once you get into the very low numbers of, I guess, pushing or high numbers depending on how you see it, when you basically almost won the entire game, you get to have the privilege of playing it extremely safe, and your opponents have to play extremely risky for the remainder of that time. And so you saw there, even though a lot of opportunities Lightbloom may have had to just go for the fight and maybe take out Foul Play entirely there, they actually decided to opt out of by the end of that game because they kind of realized that it would maybe be more risk than it was worth taking.
Yeah, they definitely were doing good at judging that towards the end there. They did get a bit punished by it, and if Foul Play was able to pop the Rainmaker a bit sooner there, they had a really huge opportunity ready for a potential solid overtime push, with the Charger being the only one alive. It's just they couldn't pop it in time or get up to it. You can see the ball point and one other trying from down below, while Twice was up ahead being ready to lead the way, and they just couldn't get it in time, but they did have it set up for them there right at the end, with just the Charger being left alive on Lightbloom. Either way, both teams playing really well against each other in the middle, and like you said, it's just who gets the jump on the other first, and that's where the push goes. But in both games, Lightbloom able to get the special synergy out very well for when they got both of their pushes down. We saw it on the tower game, and on the Rainmaker game we got really good views of it, especially with the Crab Vac play when we were on the Crab view. Solid special pushes there from that team. Good communication.
Absolutely, yeah. That is something I want to talk about, I guess, real quick while we still have a little bit of time between these two sets, is sometimes how you're able to tell how a team plays, whether their callouts are reactive or if they are, I don't know the opposite word for that, but basically when you're pre-planning things throughout the match and which directions you're going to be taking and how you're coordinating your specials. And I did feel like maybe a little bit of a difference in how those teams played, or at least the way they communicated, because you could see a lot of fights were getting won one-on-one, but then they would be immediately responded to, and then they would lose that fight immediately after. That was how they ended up with so many trades and so many little neutral situations. It's just because, okay, one person goes into a fight on the other team, they win the first pick, and then the other person on the other team takes them out. It's very hard to explain. I feel like I need a whiteboard. I need like K-bot here or something. Either way, definitely, like, maybe not a skill diff, but like a comm diff. That's what I would say.
Could be there too, yeah, depending on communication there. But you could definitely see it, even if you don't hear it. Sometimes you can just see those reactive plays and how the synergy is just put out there. towards the end. Like, there could have also, at the end for that overtime push, there could have been a slight bit of a communication issue of popping the Rainmaker, or maybe just people weren't there yet. I didn't see who was alive at the time, so maybe they really just couldn't get there and pop it in time if people were still respawning and coming back in. But communication is huge for building synergy, and of course there are some teams who do have like players that can't speak at all times. Sometimes they have to go mute. I've definitely had my time with that. But they talk to you and tell you how they're going to play in the game, and then you kind of communicate with the others, like your teammate, to follow up with this one if they're going here, and then that way you can keep the synergy. But anyway, we are going into the next set with I'm Not Feeling Well versus Water Bottle Warriors. Again, more familiar names on the board: John, Goldie, Captain Happy, Krim, Pika, Kalana, Rose. Lots of familiar faces in this game.
Guys, is this cherry limeade? Look at this cherry limeade cup.
Have.
Sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yes, don't worry. Someone had to do it, right? We're on good old crab leg with clams here. This, of course, with the ranged weapons, love to take the grates. We do see the leader from the side of I'm Not Feeling Well, and already moving in, getting that first break to go down, though, on the side of I'm Not Feeling Well. Pika just moving up a bit with the slosher here. And it looks like going to possibly take a fight here, but is spotted out by I'm Not Feeling Well, and is going to get absolutely jumped on by the others, while Kraken is going to follow up and get a pick on John.
That is something I'm curious about too, actually. This is totally irrelevant. I'm so sorry. I'm derailing here. Do you think it's John, or is it just John and then he's also like, hey, Japanese people, this is how my name is?
They subbed for me, so I know this question.
Oh, it's John! Okay, dang. All right, confirmation. It is John.
Yes.
All right. Well,
also they have a preference that I don't know about after them subbing for me for like since like the end of summer at this point. So, anywho. I'm Not Feeling Well, breaking the basket again. 3 down happened. Basically a delayed wipe there on the side Water Bottle Warriors. And we see Pika just fighting for their lives, trying to get a pick. It looks like they do pick off Captain Happy. We do see the leader just moving around, looking to try to get that pick space. People unable to get it. Now everybody going down. They are the last alive. They're probably going to place mines in front of the basket, get themselves prepared. Okay, here we go. Sorry, view jumped for me. Pika was going up towards the base. Did get 2v1 though. I'm Not Feeling Well. Definitely capitalizing on the frontliners of Water Bottle Warriors, going in one at a time, which is really good here because it shuts down a lot of the push. It can stop them from getting a big advantage, but they are able to get the Kraken play off here. They are able to get it down to 60. They do manage to get everybody out and already reclaiming mid. It looks like one is spotted out on the right. You can see a couple there. Drinks are put out here. It looks like 2 down now on the side of I'm Not Feeling Well. And this is where the pressure from Krim and Pika really come into play here. But it looks like John able to go and drop down behind them to pick off Krim after that Zuka, which is really good, especially if the Zuka did get a pick, but I didn't see if they did or didn't. It looks like Kraken play going to Pier again. But there is no clam economy to make this one work. Now there is. Never mind.
It's always when you don't need it in that exact moment. It always is. But it is interesting to see how both of these teams have kind of approached this game so far. Both teams not really having the Kraken, but they do have it on the side of Water Bottle Warriors. So maybe opting in to take these smaller pushes that, net them a smaller score at a time. But overall, they can get a lot more of them. Or if you're anything like I'm Not Feeling Well right now, which honestly, me too, you're going to get these bigger ones that are maybe a little harder to top later on in the game, but are more reliable once you get a couple of them.
Something I've noticed here is I'm Not Feeling Well is able to get a lot of good control here, but it looks like Water Bottle Warriors moving around here. I forgot whose side of the map that was for a second there. I'm like, wait a second. I thought Water Bottle Warriors was gonna push, and I'm like, wait, no, I'm Not Feeling Well is just being a rat over under their basket. So it's honestly kind of a vice versa. And here we go, 2 down on the side of Water Bottle Warriors now.
I'm having the same dilemma.
Mine's just freaking havoc over underneath the opponent's side right now.
I'll be honest with you, Debbie, this game's making me a little bit dizzy. A lot of spinning around, a lot of whose side of the map is this? It's very hard. Both teams are kind of just... Lucy, chill!
Me.
No!
Classic Zuka moment. Am I right?
Wiped out all of the remainder of Cherry Limeade in one fell swoop. That's rough. That's rough.
Anywho, I'm not feeling well. Able to get these pushes off a lot and able to shut down potential. Well, I was gonna say able to shut down potential Kraken cheese, but we see Kraken coming out here. They do have 2 clams available. 15 seconds left. We'll see if any of the jumps are gonna maybe happen. None of them do take the advantage to jump in or go up. The Kraken getting shut down on the side of the grates there, but Krim moving on in from the side is going to try to pinch from this left-hand side. Does trade. Huge trade from Captain Happy. It looks like one Pika is trying to push from this top left here. Goldie gonna try and paint from underneath. Isn't able to get it. I think there's something else happened underneath. And lots of clams are going in now. And everything was stopped. And Water Bottle Warriors able to take it back at the very end. Even though the game was very heavily dominated by I'm Not Feeling Well.
Yeah, and I guess that's just the magic of selecting or picking your poison with the type of pushes that you take in these games. They did have the Kraken on the side of Water Bottle Warriors, so that does allow them to make these quick snap decision pushes like this. But when you're in the boat of like, okay, we want to get like these bigger pushes that are based on wipes and not so much the jumping in, which obviously I don't think Water Bottle Warriors is avoiding, but on that hand, you kind of need to rely a little bit more on knocking out or having a very strong defense. You don't really get as much of an overtime opportunity as you do with Kraken. It's just very comparatively, look at this thing that can just trump everything else in this mode and let you kind of get points whenever you need them.
Yeah, it was looking a little grim there for Water Bottle Warriors when they got when the Kraken didn't get jumps, but you know what? It could have just been a decoy all along because Krim was able to get up there and then the rest followed, and I think they got another Kraken off at the very end too. I think I heard the sound, unless if I'm literally just hearing things. But I just remember hearing the sound again. I'm like, oh, I think they got that. I saw the power clam and then it went in. I'm like, okay, that maybe could have helped, but I know there was a wall in the way. The gal came back, helped from the bottom while Krim was taking fights up on that top left. They had it well surrounded towards the end, and they managed to win their fights when it really mattered there towards the end to take the overtime back.
Yeah, exactly. And it's what you got to do sometimes. You got to do what you got to do. A win's a win. But Tower Control and Akomar, a little bit more of a different situation. Do you feel like anything we saw in the last game will carry over here? I'm not even going to let you answer that because look at that. The game's already starting.
Say probably there might be a couple adjustments, but I'm going to say it's mostly going to be the same.
Yeah.
Squeezer though, double Zuka now.
That is a little bit more to be expected. When you have a pick for a certain map, you have a pick for a certain map, but then you go right back to old reliable. And a lot of the time,
splash wall.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, if you're good with it, you're good with it.
Going off the start here, it looks like Water Bottle Warriors already getting picked off by one. I'm Not Feeling Well, again taking a 2v1 there, but in the end it ends up being just neutral all around. We see Captain Happy looking to try to fight a pick on the Squeezer, but does get traded back by Pika here in middle. We see the E-leader just trying to space out the middle, putting shots towards Pika here. As bombs going out, we're in a bit of a middle phase here. Whale appearing, Zuka goes out, does pick off the ends up on the side there, and it looks like Pika able to pick off Captain Happy. There's 2 down now on the side of I'm Not Feeling Well. Water Bottle Warriors definitely feeling warmed up here as they're winning more of their fights up front. They're getting ready to push. I think the E-leader managed to pick off the tower rider there. We see John trying to take this fight on the side. Just unable to hit that last shot. Very close there. And Zuka appearing again. It does get shut down. We got the tower pass first checkpoint now. Trying to go to the next one, but a lot of fights are being taken in the middle here. 2 go down. Squeezer does have Zuka. So does Goldie. We might see Zuka back to back here, but one does end up going down. 2 specials on the side of I'm Not Feeling Well, and it looks like that they have so far defended, and we're having neutral fights, so we're around the middle of the stacks here.
Yes, I mean, you caught me right before I'm about to sneeze. I don't know. But
Oh, no.
regardless, I'm going to keep this out. And so is Captain Happy. Yeah, Captain Happy's going to keep everyone out of their side of the map. And defenses are
Oh, the bomb.
That was just tragic. You know, you get on such a roll, and then all that momentum is stopped instantly the second you make out with a suction bomb. And, you know, hey, everyone's been there before. Shame that it had to happen just then. Seemed like they were really on a roll, but we're getting back into it a little bit now here. Krim going on a bit of a rampage, dropping down to this side of the map, has really gotten ahead of that tower, but is picking off John right from the spawn. Captain Happy's in a rough spot, and that trade is going to be more than enough for Water Bottle Warriors. They did this to us on purpose, to get up further in the map.
And Krim goes wild there indeed. Krim winning a tons of fights on that bottom corner, especially when it can be like a disadvantageous fight in that corner as well, but able to end up getting the advantage in the end. We see the second checkpoint being here. It looks like the members of Water Bottle Warriors really wanted to break that second checkpoint. It was very close, so they attempted it. In return, they got wiped, and I'm not feeling well. Already took back map control. They're getting their specials back toward the sides here, and it looks like a fight's going to happen on the right. Whale appears. Captain Happy able to pick off two. Whale able to help with that one. It looks like Krim trying to get a flank, but does get spotted out. Two down on the side of Water Bottle Warriors. I'm not feeling well now. Getting some control here. Figuring out what side Water Bottle Warriors want to go. We see Krim and Pika wanting to take that right side on the stack there. The rest of the members moving towards the next checkpoint, getting ready to defend it. We see a 2v1 now on Krim with tri-strikes coming out from Pika on the side. Pika gonna try and fight this stack as unable to find Goldie. And I'm not feeling well. Approaching second checkpoint now, Siren. It's getting close.
It is getting dangerously close here. We're in that 8-point margin. Goldie just needs to get a couple more picks to seal the deal here. They're going to tap on and off of that tower. This is mostly a trade. That Wavebreaker is going to make some leeway, but that's not going to stop Pika.
Oh,
Pika, do you know how to jump rope? Like, what?
When you play tower control enough and go against a bunch of Wavebreakers, yeah, you learn how to jump rope. The tower is still in that vicinity, though. There is two down on the side of I'm not feeling well. I think Water Bottle Warriors is able to defend a decent point here. They're not, I guess, they're not quite out of the woods yet, but Captain Happy just trying to shark there is found, but now map is taken over. This is now getting a little bit tight here as that push has been broke down. I'm not feeling well has to find that way back forward. They have to make sure that Krim does not go on a rampage. They did find Pika, but now they have to make sure that Krim doesn't get away with this flank here. It looks like it has been spotted. Is it going to get caught out? Yes, it is. I think the cooler was still active, so I think Krim's going to be right back. We see the Zuka just, I think just barely missed the one, but the squeezer getting taken out. Pika trying to fight on the right. We see the leader on the tower here too, trying to watch the tower. Wavebreaker out, all the moving around the side. The bucket is down. Looks like Krim able to win a fight. Krim Zuka-ing, trying to pick off another. Able to pick two! That is huge! It's just the leader left is going to get taken down there. Oh my goodness.
I was getting a little worried there. I thought that Water Bottle Warriors was getting a little bit too greedy by the end of the game there. You saw a couple of them go down just before those last few seconds of the game. That was getting a little scary. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that if that Ink Zuka had failed from Krim, they would be looking at a different result right now.
That Ink Zuka really did help a lot of that, and I think part of it, I think Krim knew that they also needed the Zuka's help at that point in the spot where they were, or it was just, just really great timing, but usually a lot of people will keep an eye on that before they want to take that fight, when Krim went over to that side, but that definitely helped seal the deal on that one side there, taking out the threats that could have kept that tower going there, and the leader just had to try to fight on their own. But that is really tough in that scenario as a leader when you got a whole bunch of stuff falling down on your head.
Yeah, that's a very difficult position. Side note here, I could talk about the games forever, but there is a specific meta as well to picking your names on Battlefy. I've realized now, because you have ways without profanity and like dirty jokes or anything like that to absolutely just drive the commentators crazy, and that's having a name that's impossible to say. Not even just keyboard smashing. I think the next time I do a pickup, I'm gonna call it "She Sells Seashells by the Seashore," and then just like go on like that and insist that my entire team name is pronounced.
I would literally just call it Team Tongue Twister. That's it.
Yeah,
it's over there. I
would put it in the
have
chat.
Problems reading some names, and I'm like, you want me to read this rapidly? Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
I want you guys to say it every time.
And But yeah, everyone has their fun here and there, and just rolls with it. But we have finished the first 2 rounds already. Those 2 went relatively smoothly. They were cruising neck and neck from the teams before until one got the upper hand, was able to go. We saw in this last set that I'm Not Feeling Well during the Clams game, like I said, had majority of the dominance during that game until literally the overtime play. It's almost kind of what everyone likes to call like those turf war moments, right? Where the game's decided in the 30 seconds or less. That happened in that Clams game.
Yeah.
Sometimes games can just be like that. A lot of the times, it's very crucial to know that timing and make sure you're set up for it. And then when you know you're about to reclaim lead, like on that tower match, I'm Not Feeling Well had 2 main opportunities to potentially retake lead, just unable to capitalize on it. And of course, Krim with that Zuka at like the perfect time to actually stop that. That probably definitely was a game changer there. But solid first couple sets here that we've seen.
What a set! What a clencher of all things. I'm not gonna say where I was clenched, but definitely there was some clenching going on there. I think not specifying kind of made it worse, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. We did have the bracket up a second. Oh, we do have it up still. What am I saying here? Healthy Diet Food Groups. That is a team I don't think I've seen in a tournament in quite a while. I guess the stars aligned for them tonight to play the game at an hour that everyone else plays it.
I've definitely seen them here and there in the IPL events off and on. So I do see them appear relatively at a decent pace. So
right.
When I look at the brackets, it's like, oh, hey, I know these people. For the most part, it's just like teams familiar to me. There's one game that I remember, or one set that I remember playing against them in particular. I think it was in a Hammerhead bracket one time. It was such a good set. It's definitely one of my favorite sets to remember in the I want to say quote unquote recent times, even though it's been still quite a while since that set happened. But
I have no concept of time anymore. Ever since the pandemic, everything has like what is time? And even then, this is going to be a great segue for me, but my partner loves to point out the fact that I time every single event in my life based around what LAN happened around that time. So yeah, speaking of which, if you really want something monumental to look back on, Genesis is happening about a month from today, give or take. Registration is closing very soon. So if you're anywhere near Cali, please sign up. It shows the people who are running Genesis above us that people care about Splatoon still, and not just at the Kalahari. So
I was so
please.
glad to see Genesis come back. I was also just sad myself because Genesis was like the first Splatoon LAN I ever attended back in 2020.
Really?
And yeah, but I couldn't make it to this one because flights be expensive from where I am, so I couldn't do it.
And
It
okay,
was
perfect.
unfortunate.
Here's my next plug. If anyone ever needs a cheap flight or any travel advice, hit up my DMs. It's like a hyper fixation for me to find like cheap flight prices and like have all this random travel knowledge. So if you're ever like, oh, this seems a little too expensive for me, just DM me. I saved my partner like $40 the other day. He was ready to buy the flight. I was like, bro, no, hold on. Since when? Like, what do you mean, since when? Probably since, like, 2019, I've been, like, hyper-fixated on travel. Or do you mean the travel service thing? This is exclusive IPL stream drop. Yeah.
At least get to make it to LTC again, so that's a good one, though. At least I can go back there. I still, though, it would have been great to be, like, a complete run back to Genesis 4 years later.
Absolutely.
I think we're just
I want to watch Orca Ballastra versus Healthy Diet Food Groups. I don't know about you. I want to watch that.
Orca Ballestra's been cruising. Definitely familiar name in the scene, rising very rapidly.
Yes, I was gonna say that too, yeah. Very, like, growing reputation. They've been around for quite some time. Mostly in my open lobbies, right when I'm feeling sad and I want to feel good at the game. That's when they'll show up.
But yeah, no, great people. I've seen them just go from the low levels to the mid levels, and they're just continuously improving. It's definitely a model team to look at for those new coming to Splatoon who just kind of want to see how, like, you know, what it takes for teams to, like, climb how they go. Orca Ballestra's definitely one to look at for the how many events they've been doing, how they practice. You see them often, you run into them often. They're very committed, and their progress is definitely showing.
Yeah, that is one thing I think everyone can agree on. It's definitely. I wish I was paying attention more to, like, Splatoon tournaments and results and all the players on all the teams, but it's really something different for me when I notice a team is growing, because usually it happens before I can even notice, and then just suddenly, oh hey, what do you know? Octopi is here. Like, what?
But yeah, it looks like we're just waiting to get that all set up and hearing from Word and all that. But I think, you know what, till we get word on who we're actually streaming and all that, we'll take a short break and then we'll come right back. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Yeah. Yo, yo, yo. We're welcoming you back to Proving Grounds. This is me. I'm still Siren, and this is still Debbie. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
We're good. Just same old me, I think. I don't think I've changed. Nope, I'm the same. No.
Welcome to our Alpha Squid podcast. We have sorry. On this episode, should Octos have rights? Anyway, XOXO versus Persist. Yeah, I think we were talking about this before. We just Happy Friday.
Yeah, okay, moving on, nothing happened. Yeah, XOXO versus Persistence. You said you came across XOXO not that long ago, and of course, good old familiar name that I actually get to commentate for once. It's been a while. Good old Persistence.
I actually gotten to commentate Persistence, like, in a while or a long time.
I know it's been a while since I last was able to commentate Persistence, but I know Stormy's usually on comms when I'm playing somewhere on a stream a good amount of the time. So now I get to do it in return if Stormy's playing tonight. So
there you go, you're taking turns.
So there we go.
Seesaw.
Indeed.
I guess both of these teams are kind of familiar at this point. XOXO, maybe a little bit newer group of people playing together. I know it's all like, I believe it is all veterans on that team, but just maybe a bit newer to playing with each other or playing as quote-unquote XOXO. All
right, so we got for Persistence tonight, Stormy, Lucio, Jollyboard, and Ichigo or Ichi, as we like to put it, and Stamper making an appearance now. Stamper's been definitely seeing the appreciation here and there. Of course, this is the Crab Stamper being shown in combination with the Range Blaster. That one you actually don't see too terribly often. We did see the Blaster earlier, but the Range Blaster can take a lot of space, especially on Zone's Mahi. It's just like you can't really hide anywhere. The Blaster can just take you out of it.
Well, I feel like a lot more people don't feel as afraid to pull out that Range Blaster nowadays. Pro Chara said it was good, so you know it's more socially acceptable at this point. We were all afraid.
Yes, one person deems it worthy. We're going to see it everywhere. Just like how we've all seen Dread Ringers everywhere lately. Anywho, moving on. We had a battle in the zone. 2 did go down on the side of XOXO. We do see Lucio trying to move around, helping to break that crab. It looks like trying to go in for that pick. Is able to get a trade, but another member of Persistence does go down in return. It looks like Zone is looking to try to go back in the favor of XOXO, but Lucio, not having it, is going to say no. Does get one pick, is able to get one on the Blaster, can get the third. Lucio popping off here, get the 3. That, I believe, is a delayed quad for Lucio. Good old Lucio moment. And I feel like every time I commentate Persistence, I see Lucio pop off in a corner, and there it is tonight, right off the get-go.
Yeah, that is really, I feel like what every time I see Lucio is what he kind of does, is just have these like intense moments in game. Very, very on and off, and always knows when the camera's on him somehow. So good for them. XOXO. Yes, being very in control despite the fact that they've had a lot of people go down recently. That Chainsaw going to be the last one to go down on the zone there. Going to be a retake finally for Persistence, and they do still hold that lead for themselves, but it's just a matter of taking down that penalty to make it a little bit more meaningful at this point in time.
You see Ichigo here going up is commonly known for playing the 96 gallon, is of course playing it here, using the Kraken to get up on the plat of XOXO, is able to get a pick there using the wall to their advantage. They're trying to push back this sword. Okay, they went underneath the ledge there, just kind of went zoom, but it looks like XOXO able to make it down onto the zone, able to take it back. Looks like 2 members go down on the side of Persistence, make that 3. They do have control of the zone. Penalty is almost over. They will be counting for points here shortly. Persistence respawning back in. They just need to try to paint for something to go back into zone. We'll see if they can maybe stop the lead from potentially happening here. They do have specials at the ready. I heard the Kraken appear. I just didn't see what side it went on. There it is. We found the Kraken. trying to push people around. There's 5 ticks till lead. They're trying to paint it with their life here, but I think the pencil is going to help keep that out. Paint over the gal. Lead going into XOXO's favor, but of course quickly goes back into Persistence afterwards. It's not too much of a point difference, but Persistence now has to stay alive, win fights. Jollybird almost making it over there, but the Crab just in a good place, able to pick them off here. And XOXO able to keep Persistence out as they reclaim zone once again, looking to increase their points to lead here. They have lead, but to get more points. To get more...
Yeah, exactly. Persistence did apply that penalty to them once again back a while there, just buying them a little bit more time to give it a second shot, as we do see Itchy taking a similar approach to last time with that Kraken coming around, getting her out of the zone. They've bought themselves some time once again, applying that penalty, albeit kind of a small one, onto XOXO, though again they're dealing with the situation here where they're not quite able to retain. They're getting these really quick bursts of winning the fight and winning the objective, but they do need a bit more of that holding power to stay in the game a little bit longer. And now we're getting into the dangerous territory of one mess up here could equate in a knockout.
Something I've noticed here, just from how XOXO is taking this here, is they have been picking off majority of the painters first. We had the perspective on Ichigo on the side there for a good while, and EXO wasn't really initiating a fight with the gal. They took out the painters of Persistence, and then left the gal because the gal was kind of on their own on the side there. They took out Stormy on the shot. I believe the zap went down the side. Lucio was stuck in a corner as well, so the brush or a shot would go down. But one of their main painters and a second would go down on Persistence. So XOXO definitely prioritizing who they're picking first. I don't know if that was intentional, but it was working out for them because they were picking off those key people who can take back zone for Persistence. While the gal was just, being on the side trying to be a bit of a nuisance, but instead they didn't focus priority on the gal, just kind of left it be so that they could hold zone, win those fights, keep the advantage, and then go towards the gal when they know that they could 2v1 it. So definitely a nice approach there. I don't know if that was intentional, but it definitely happened during that game.
Yes. Wow. I don't think I noticed the fact that this is switched to best of 5 until just now, but hey, here we are. Looking at all these maps, we have Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy. This can be a bit of a rough one. Do you feel like we're going to be seeing any similar strats with that Kraken coming out, maybe especially from the side of Persistence? You think they're going to whip that one out here?
Knowing who's wielding it, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay the same. Plus they also have the brush, so I think Clamblitz is a better mode for Persistence overall over zones with the people who are playing tonight. So this could definitely go in Persistence's favor, considering how they have the Kraken, they have the Lucio brush, and definitely the strong follow-up from the other two players, as well as having a lot of good pressure on the front line. The key is just making sure that they can maintain the fights there. XOXO had a strong pencil there that was zoning out a lot as well, and helping the front line pick off those key members, again, that were picking off the shot, that were picking off the brush. The pencil was helping with a good number of those fights as well, from what I could see. And if that pencil returns or backline, that'll be something that Persistence will have to be careful of when pushing forward, but they do have a lot of distraction methods for the 2 ways into basket here, so that could really help out. And Mar just has to be aware, and I'm sure that they will be aware and poke around, and teammates can just follow up with the rest of the poke that they have with the damage that can also come from that Stamper and the Blaster.
Looking at both of these teams here, it seems that they have very specific ideas in mind, and XOXO kind of has this very strong defensive wall, which I think lines up very well with the previous game. On top of that, we saw a lot of these really explosive moments coming out of Persistence, but an overall stronger consistency and maybe a better stake in the ground with XOXO, and that can really play a huge part in clams like you're seeing here. Persistence is going to be always on that offense, and XOXO does want to maybe overall rely on their defense mechanics a bit more in this game. Though that is going to make it a little bit harder for them in this beginning half of the game there while they're trying to establish a lead or something to work off of.
We do see that Kraken just trying to appear, getting up on the plat here, pushing them back. The wave breaker did go down. And going back towards middle here, just going to try to help it with this fight, is able to help get one, but two down on the side of Persistence again. XOXO's comp here really showing its poking power, because I'd like to note how there isn't actually a shooter present on XOXO's comp, which you don't see a lot. Usually there's one shooter present. I mean, you got the pencil, but it's not as rapid as, like, you know, the shooter you see from the zap and the shot that Persistence has. But all these weapons follow up really well with each other because of the poke damage that they can do. And when they get into these fights, you get tapped by one, the other one just comes up, follows up. That's gonna be rough to get out of. And with how tight some of these corners are on Inkblot, it's really working out for XOXO right now.
Yeah, XOXO making quite a dent into the defensive side of Persistence here. Not quite getting a push off of it, though, which is the very interesting part of that. It felt like they were very on, like, level 100 fighting. Oh, wait, we needed room for objective as well there. And that can be a little bit hard to clam manage on this map as well. It's very scattered out on top of the place, and it's very heavy and reliant on the middle parts of the map, and it's another map that's hard to backtrack. So you really need to be mindful specifically on this one. It's very hard to, like, just go, oh, wait, we need clams. Oh, but I have to get rid of all the progress I've made in getting into the enemy base to do that. So that is the difficult thing about this one. Stormy, though, making some moves, getting behind the members of XOXO, and that is actually going to lead to a full wipe!
Stormy starting it off strong for a potential push here for Persistence, although they just don't have the clam economy yet to make full use of it, so they got the wipe. They can't quite push off of it, but they had time to rack up their economy. They have these specials. We see the Kraken is at the ready, so they could just go in with the Kraken here and get this pushback off afterwards. We see the Kraken out, trying to find its way up. Kraken is up in play. The two jumps are appearing. That's what Persistence wanted. They used the wipeout to get their economy. They got the lead down to 60 there. And it looks like Ichigo's still trying to pinch out this pencil here with the help of Jollybird. But the rest of the members of XOXO are coming back in. Jollybird just can't find a pick on anybody here until the very end.
Oh my goodness. Like, how do you even deal with that kind of thing? We are, like, almost 4 minutes into a 5-minute game here, and we're looking at these little tiny pushes, which is very uncommon for such a short map like this one. You really are expecting to get a lot more out of it because it doesn't take all that much time to get to the enemy basket. It's just a matter of these teams like Persistence getting in there and getting those fights won and those wipeouts, which are just so important. But that was the one thing that XOXO had was their defense.
Jollybird with the life-saving Zuka here, picking off the two that were pressuring them. Paint is in mid. We see again the Kraken has been charged and ready. They got one score in. Kraken's going to roam around here just to try to clear a bit of space. But XOXO is in the way to defend. Lucio going to try to get one. Is able to get one, but the pencil is able to pick off the other one. We see Ichigo just dodging around on the side here, just trying to get paint for themselves. Is known by XOXO that they are over here. Is going to distract on the side. Able to pick one. Can they pick two? Does trade with the second one. Stormy able to come in towards the end here. Stormy trying to get another pick. Is able to get that second one. That was 3 down on the side of XOXO. Persistence here. They are alive here. They have the clams up here. They're going to break that basket again. They're going to extend their lead a little bit more. We see Drinks on the plat. Stormy roaming around trying to find some extra clams. Paint was out. Looks like they got 2 members of XOXO down to potentially 3 there. And XOXO now just has to find a way to stop the lockout that's happening, but they do these clams. But if Persistence can still score it, they could end the game. But overtime is happening. It started. Stormy in behind, solid shark position, is able to pick off that one clam. Pencil does see Stormy. We see one on the other side. Blaster able to make a move here. Is going up to the basket. going to see if they can get a pick on the other shooter here, but Jollybird able to pick it off, and that's where the fast-paced shooter will come in handy of that, but with if you don't get the direct with the blaster, but just about had the spot for the jump in for that pity clam by that blaster there. So good attempt by the blaster for potentially making it up to that basket there, but just had to kind of move around to keep themselves alive in time to make it happen. But what a game, Siren. That was solid.
Pretty solid. You definitely were right early on about it being a bigger strength for Persistence and that particular roster, and you could see it in that game there. And I do think that's a very rather interesting contrast between a lot of modes in as well. For something like zones, once you have that position and you have your feet firmly planted where they need to be to, finish that game off, a lot of teams can just sit and take those fights from wherever they want, and as long as that zone is capped, they can basically get into a checkmate position. Things like clams do force you to compromise that and see what other areas of the map you can dominate, and clearly that was something that Persistence was very strong at as well, and I do want to see if that'll be able to be carried over to tower control Hagglefish as like a transferable skill in the set. That's what the employers care about.
Tower control will be interesting because I can't say if one team might have an advantage overall. XOXO is putting out a comp that has a lot of follow-up with each other, can do a lot of range control and all that, and Persistence has the more I'm going to have some kind of keeping control in the middle while the other pokes from the side, and then we just kind of move in like a closing in wall from all corners. That's kind of how Persistence has been approaching it. And XOXO is kind of just waiting for them to push in, because during the last game they had the stamper, the bucket, the blaster, and the pencil. They're more of okay, I'm going to wait for these fast weapons to push into us, because then all of our poke just deletes them. So it's kind of a balance, because Persistence wanted to go fast. XOXO still wants to keep up the pressure, but they aren't as quick, if that makes sense. So it kind of balances it out, which is why we saw a huge neutral fight for a good amount of time during that one. And that could also happen on this map here, but it all depends on if Ichigo is going to make it on one side, if Lucio is going to be the one going around. We will see what happens during this match as we get going.
Yes. What a start to be looking at here. We can see a few of them kind of just trying to turn up his special as fast as possible, and that's definitely going to be the pencil on the side of XOXO. And Stormy actually opting into being the one playing the end zap here, which does make sense, especially if you have somebody who would also work very well on shot. Sometimes that very strong mechanic player is the best person to put on the supporting weapon, because they can rock no matter where you put them.
Stormy was on the ends up the last game too.
Look, you see the bitrate that I'm seeing here, Devi? I can't tell.
Okay.
I can't tell. Let's be real here. Stream does not see what we see right now, and what I see is Stormy. I can't even see the R correctly, which might not even be an R at all. It might be a pi sign.
If I can't see it, I look to see if I can make out the little shape of the top corner of the special. That typically gives me a little bit of an idea. But also knowing the player does helps. But yeah, Stormy's been on the end zap here. Was cruising on it last game. Is cruising on it here again. Popping out coolers for the front line, because I know Jollybird is typically seen on shot. So Jollybird is the shot player here. It looks like nice tag team coordination here from XOXO. That is 3 down on the side of Persistence. They do have the cooler from the pencil, and you can see that they're moving up. You can see the blaster's taking the bottom left here. You can see another is awaiting just behind. We can see the shot just being ready to help the blaster out if that all happens. Crab is out. Nice Crab to get the tower past the checkpoint while Pencil rides it. It looks like they're trying to fight one member on the left here, and this is where I actually can't read who it is. But it does get help, and 2, now 3. It's kind of just reversing back and forth. Lucio is able to get the upper hand there with their teammate and get back in. Kraken is popped here. Looks like is just going to go push members back up the plat there. Of course, it's going to an area that they can't quite reach. All of them taking the high ground, Cooler's out, Lucio is down, but Persistence looking to try to take this, take a push back here towards XOXO. It looks like Azuka managed to find one, the Gal able to find another. I heard a crab appear. We do see the rain appearing, and we see the Gal just moving in with that rain for extra cover, so that if someone get hit by the rain, the Gal can just finish them off.
I don't know if anyone can actually hear me right now, but you know, things are going a little downhill in Siren Land as far as the stream goes. So, hey, well, would you look at that? That lead has been maintained by XOXO in the last 20 seconds. I'd love to see chat tell me what just happened because I have no idea. Let's just do a quick quiz. Who's been paying attention? Raise your hand.
I guess, let me know and I can continue. It's kind of jittery for me, but I can still see. Persistence right now, they did manage to stop XOXO from taking stuff back, and they're resuming their push. XOXO has a bunch of suction bombs that they're putting on tower. We do see the Kraken appearing, again, putting pressure on the plat. Isn't able to get that one pick, just misses it. Went for the sword. Two now go down on the side of Persistence. The Blaster here in a nice spot. This is where the Blaster definitely wants to be after the checkpoint. There is, Persistence got the lead by a singular point right now. There's 1 minute and 23 left in this game. Blaster is controlling mid. Two down on the side of Persistence. There is a Wave Breaker ready to go. Is popped by the Blaster, but two do go down on the side of XOXO. Persistence do not want to let them get ahead. Jollybird, though, unfortunately not able to get the pick on the sword, as the sword able to get the charge shot off, and XOXO looking to try to gain that lead as they are very close. There is the lead. They just have to push it a little further. Persistence now 2 down. XOXO just wants to move on up here and just get as many more points as possible, as there's under 1 minute left in this game.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough if you are in the position of Persistence right now. 40 seconds means you have a lot of extra pressure put on you to get back into this, but look at how they've been holding on to their specials this whole time. They've maintained that, you know, their lives and that special counter. So I do feel like it's a little bit early to be popping the Kraken in their base, and that Octobrush going down, that could be a little bit rough for Persistence, as we see here, one by one going down. They're still able to hold on to that tower, albeit not maybe where they want it to be at this point in time, but that Zuka taking out two at the same time. One of the members is going to have to get on that tower and is really going to have to stick to it. Don't think that's quite going to be possible, but hey, miracles happen, right?
Well, I guess a miracle bomb happened for XOXO. I know it's not really much of a miracle bomb, but it did manage to catch two at the end.
Yeah, more confirmation, I would say.
However, though, Persistence did have a couple of good pushes there, and with how XOXO's comp is, has a very solid line of defense against Persistence's comp when trying to push past first checkpoint. The Blaster just has to be on the ramp, the sword can just be kind of going up from any angle, the pencil just from above. It's very hard to break past that if you can't get picks on them or push them back. The Kraken tried, but as soon as the Kraken doesn't get a pick on it, they're already back where they just were, and the tower cannot push anywhere, and in the end the Kraken might get picked off instead. And towards the end there, you can see Persistence tried very hard to just go and take a fight and hope to win it. I could see kind of a bit of the panic in, I'm gonna take a fight and I need to win it, trying to make like the hero plays, right? But of course it didn't go in their favor there, as we saw members kind of go down one at a time. There was usually a staggered 2 down. I was watching the top more at the end, just to see if Persistence could maintain numbers. To push it back towards the end, but unfortunately they did not. XOXO was able to keep them staggered towards the end, and then we saw the Gal try to fight their heart out at the end, but couldn't get it, and then the bomb. But yeah, and it all started off with a single double Zuka shot.
Yeah, the Zuka shot that caused everything to start and I guess end in that one. So chicken, egg, yes, Izuka shot, something like that. Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track could very much seal the deal for XOXO tonight, but this is also a great opportunity for Persistence to get back into this and maybe take it to a game 5 tonight. It's very realistic what we're looking at here, especially with something like Rainmaker. You love it, you hate it. I like watching it. I hate playing it when everything is lying on that mode and it's like, oh, okay, this is something I could lose in a split second with basically almost no warning, right? Definitely a little bit of a better factor in that regard than we had in Splatoon 2, thanks to the introduction of checkpoints. But it's still definitely something that's there. Like, you get that checkpoint out of the way at the beginning of the game, you never have to worry about it again.
Then you just have to worry about getting through elbow or whatever you need to get through. But yeah, this map, going off of what XOXO has been running right now, it's going to be very hard to fight on this map. We see Mar going to the charger, the shot still staying. Persistence just maintaining the same comp. Lucio definitely has more options of running around here. The Gal has very good pressure towards the one side. Oh, something happened.
Too sure what happened there. I didn't quite catch it if there was something wrong, but that is the map mode, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what it says on the screen. Well, I can't wait for the drama. Oh, they're subbing. Okay. That's the drama, everyone. Everyone, get your notepads out. We're discussing this at tea time on Sunday.
Alright. They had Clamblets. Well, they had the right map, at least.
Yes.
But yeah, kind of going off of what I was saying before, with what XOXO's been putting out so far, I know... For me in particular, I would despise fighting this just for how much it can combo with each other. But their weakness point is actually being up close and personal, but now you have to get up close and personal to be able to take it down, which is the hard part. So, with how Rainmaker goes, the Gal, if it gets set up on that side there, is going to be difficult to deal with, especially when they can coordinate a couple specials there. Like if the Kraken goes off and then they can follow up with like Zuka, that would work out really well for Persistence. They just have to keep an eye on the back door at who could be coming in for a potential flank. The Blaster can peek around from above. Charger, of course, has straight line of fire, but the wall can block that for a certain amount of time. But a lot of just fall off and poke in the corner here. It's gonna make it really hard for, I think, for Persistence to possibly stop the elbow there if they don't have specials, because they're gonna be outranged. And then when it comes to XOXO, they do not want to let the 96 Gal get set up on the elbow when they're pushing, because that could mean a lot of doom for them.
Yeah, a lot of doom, especially if that special meter is full.
But this can go either way. It could be fast. It could be neutral. Both teams have put up a solid fight so far on all of these games here, and it gets closer for each game down the line. So I can't even make there's really no. I definitely can't predict who could take it off the get-go or how it could go. It changes every time, and like I said, it gets closer and closer. So for Pop, like Persistence, I think has more popping power with their weapons. They are definitely faster at pop, but that sword, if it gets there, and if they get a pick off on one of those shooter weapons before a pop happens, then they can definitely get it, especially with the charge slash and everybody kind of aiming at it. It'll just explode. But I really like seeing how both these comps are playing out these games here. It's I'm very amused by XOXO's comp.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit fresh. I haven't quite casted a stream since we decided Range Blaster is good, so this is quite exciting for me as somebody who mained Range Blaster back when we used to consider it good, which was Chex Clock 2017. So, here we are. I believe that was XOXO actually getting that pop in the beginning of the game there, which is a little bit surprising, but here we are.
They did, yeah.
That cooler is, I think, what the reward was ultimately for getting the pop that early on. Will they capitalize off of it? Yes, they are grabbing that Rainmaker. They are full-on putzing that thing right on over there. They don't even care about the Kraken. They've gotten through that checkpoint. It's been a minute and they have opened the doors to cheese. We have opened the gateways, and anything can happen from here on out.
Yeah, like you said, once they break that first checkpoint, it can just... They don't have to deal with it anymore. They can just go. Persistence here. You can see Jollybird just being aware of the specials here, dodging the Wave Breaker. It looks like Azuka managed to pick off one. Pinning for Stormy. There is more shots coming towards this Rainmaker. Checkpoint is now taken on the side of Persistence as well, so both sides have secured checkpoint. Kiki's just in the corner here trying to fight the gal and the rest of Persistence till the rest of the team shows up, but it looks like the Stamper goes down on the side and the entire lobby dies.
Oh no. Well, that can't be good.
Unless if it was just the streamer, but I think it could have also pretty just been sure JPEG. That was, yeah.
Oh, calling out JPEG. He just said a bad word in the stream coordination chat. Not on my PG Twitch stream.
I don't know if they're still going or not. Hang on. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and see if they're still going or not. Where are they? Moment when it doesn't want to show me what I want.
Are you watching an ad for toilet paper with dancing bears?
No, I thought I saw one of them go live earlier, but unless if I'm mistaken. No, the whole thing, it looks like it died because I just pulled up Stormy's POV and they are not in the game, so.
Okay, well, I don't think, I don't know how that, look, I commentate this tournament. I don't think I've ever played it. I don't know the specific rules, if it just uses the same rules as all the other IPL tournaments. And even then, I don't know that. I let Stormy do all that. Not Stormy. What? Why did I say that?
Yeah,
Thorin do that.
The entire lobby died, so that was in fact a host DC, and it looks like XOXO was the host. So
right, but does it depend on the amount of points taken?
No. If it's a host DC, it's just done.
Woof. All right. Well, I guess we do get a game 5. Maybe
we get a game 5.
Not in the way we intended. But regardless, here we are. Which we're back to zones, which could be a little bit alarming for Persistence, because game 1 was, I would say, mostly dominant in the favor of XOXO. I mean, I guess that's really the only way to win zones. Is dominating that.
Persistence actually had the lead for the first bit on Lucky's zones, and then XOXO took it back. They managed, like I said, they picked off the painters on the side of Persistence, and I didn't know if it was intentional because they were just ignoring the 96 gal for a while. So that worked out really well in their favor, but now we just see if the same thing's gonna happen, if the gal's just gonna be a distraction on the side again, and if that's gonna kind of be a strategy that's gonna be used again or not. But Persistence did have a solid take on the start of the last zones game, so this one could still go either way. It just kind of depends on how they take positioning towards the middle, and what advantages they're going to get, and as long as they can maintain numbers, they really need their numbers to be able to combat a tag team on pushing, a tag team pair pushing from XOXO, like trying to lock out and stuff like that.
Yeah, so kind of like what I was going at is I felt overall that XOXO was more so dominant in that first game, not necessarily because of like the first half and how that was going. It to me, it felt like they took a minute to stabilize, and then they had a stronger holding power closer to the end of the game, because Persistence was getting those fights out of the way, but they just weren't getting the right people on the zone, and that's a skill of its own, is being able to stick to it and making sure the right pawns stay alive in that situation.
But yeah, the good old classic Game 5 on Zone's Mako Mart. You see anything happen on this one, and it's just like, oh, is things going to be the same? Are they going to switch it up? We did see a potential tri-slosher pick from XOXO appear in the last one. That could carry over here, just because we've seen I've seen lots of tri-sloshers be dominant on Mako before, especially when they get stack control. They might go just back to the Poke comp that they had before and don't even run a shooter at all. One of them just kind of seems to switch off and on, but yeah, we will see what happens here. I think they're just preparing the lobby to go into the match here, so we still got a little bit of time before the game starts. Not much though. They're in the process of readying up, so that is all right. But yeah, so this is anybody's game, anybody's set. The score's basically wiped clean at this point. When you go into Game 5, it's just, your good old classic, almost sudden death moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a little worrying, and that kind of thing can shake up any player, I think, especially in this kind of format of the tournament. Once you lose that safety net of being in winners, it's a little harder on the mental, because at any moment you could be out of the tournament after that.
Yeah, it's an all or nothing, but the biggest thing is just to remember to remain calm. It's like you're just kind of beginning again, but you don't want to lose that fire that you brought for that entire time. Like, you're warmed up yet now. You should know what to expect. You should have an idea on how to counter what they're trying to throw at you. So now it's really who's gonna play their cards right here. How are they gonna approach it? Because yeah, at this point, both teams have put out their main strategies, and if they talk about that, they should be able to pick up on that and figure out how to jump on it for sure. Like I said, Persistence has that strategy of having all move into all move in like a closing wall, while XOXO has that tag team pair up with range supportive cover fire that can really take out the shooters. But here we go. We are going Game 5, Splat Zone's Mako Mart, and we see the normal slosher appear on the side of XOXO, while Persistence is going to stick what they know how to do with the gal shot, brush, and zap.
See, this is where I Uno reverse you, because XOXO has been playing that slosher for like most of the games of this set.
I know. But it's kind of going around here. But of course, it definitely works for them and all that. Coming back here, getting the wipeout on Persistence. Persistence here needs to get specials. We can see Stormy trying to get the cooler, but surprise! Zuka shot going to stop that cooler from potentially happening. Rain is going to try to combo with the Kraken here, but isn't able to find a pick with the Kraken, but is able to find just a pick with main weapon afterwards. We see the Blaster trying to fight on zone to try to get a couple directs. Missed both, I believe, and didn't get any picks. Persistence able to quickly take back zone. Drinks on zone are able to get points here. We do see the Zuka at the ready on the side of XOXO, and potential fight very soon to happen. It looks like the gal does go down. Stormy in a bit of a pickle here. Does go down, and zone is very in the favor of XOXO right now, but that could very much change because of this solid wall placement here. What a wall!
That is quite the 50-50. I'm dropping this wall here, let's hope it works, and it paid off for them. Jolly Bird getting the pick on Kiki as well, not giving things up quite that easily, but that is going to be a very quick cap coming out of XOXO. They have that wave breaker going off for them as well, which should set them up a little bit more to get a better standing in the game at the moment. They do need to make sure that they move up on this on top of that as well, though. They cannot afford to be sitting back and letting Persistence build up things in their spawn, and they are taking these fights at least in a way that leverages them right now. As you do see members jumping into that pencil, they have a really good momentum and game cycle going on for them right now.
Oh, the Kraken here not able to find the pick they wanted to. Did poke it a little bit. Kiki throwing out the Zuka here. It looks like the shot gets taken down. This zone is almost knocked out. The blaster's been picked. The zone is neutral. Persistence able to get that penalty. They needed that penalty. They got 2 down on the side of XOXO now. They just need to find the other ones. They need to be able to keep XOXO back, because if they get control, it's going to be hard to fight back, especially with getting the blaster and the slosher around on the stack. It looks like Lucio, trying to go for one, is able to catch one falling down, is able to pick off that shot. That was key. Blaster gets stuck in the freezer. Penalty is over. Lucio is going to get get bombed from above. Just drops the bomb. And zone is quickly taken back with the help of Tri-Strikes.
Yeah, gosh, I wish that were me. Kiki is gonna drop down from this stack here, is spotting out 2 members of Persistence, both getting taken out there by the handy teamwork of the members of XOXO coming there to back up Kiki. We're seeing assist on top of assist. That is not any less hype than just getting those picks, because when you're working together, you're playing together, and that's how you win these games. 2 down, but you do see them returning rather quickly. That penalty is extremely low right now. We could be looking at a knockout here, but Itchy is able to get back in there with that Kraken and is rolling onto that zone. They're buying Persistence one more opportunity for them to stay in this game. The seconds and the penalty is going to be ticking down for these teams. Yeah, take it away from here.
XOXO has capitalized on what Persistence is trying to do. I keep looking up, and usually the flanker is getting called out and picked off in those tight choke points. So they're able to stop Persistence not long after they cap. So there's a minute left in this game. Persistence has to be able to find a cap and find a way to hold, but again, the Gal going down. XOXO is really finding a way to punish the Gal here, and Persistence is just definitely struggling to get onto the zone and be able to hold the zone. But XOXO doing what I did earlier, they're finding that tag team pair and pushing forward, and a lot of it's been a lot of work with Kiki and Enrage. The shot and the blaster, you can always see them when they go in pair at a time. The shot will go in, the blaster will supportive cover fire. Persistence, I think they might have found it, found the lock that they need, but 1 for 1 here. Jolly Bird just staying around the zone, trying to just maintain around here. The members of Persistence went up into the base to try to lock and get picks. They did get a couple, 2 went down in return. And with that 2 down in return, 1 can't hold the zone long enough for it to be like basically insta-cap. And we see Lucio and Ichigo down here. Zuka from Jolly Bird getting 1. There's just, it's a splat back, but just not in time. That was very close to getting recapped. Like literally, what, like 0.5 of a second. I think Persistence was going to actually cap that back quickly. Oh my goodness.
What a nail biter these games have been so far. Well, I say so far, but we're looking at the end of this set after a very long journey.
Oh, that was coming down to the wire there, but just XOXO able to keep Persistence out. They stopped the lock. Persistence, definitely what their comp is meant to do is to go in deep to lock, but it also can be the shutdown for them with how XOXO's comp works together. And like I said, XOXO maintaining what they were doing well as Kiki would go in, and their main partner in this game was the blaster, and we saw it several times on the spectator cam, and I'd love to see it where the shot would go in, kind of would like basically kind of decoy, would go in and kind of shuffle back out and go in again, and then the blaster would be right above poking shots, and then one of them would get the splat and it would work well for them, and then when they knew it wasn't safe, they'd back up and to another side. And those two were really working together very well in that game, and I loved the perspective that we got to see of it. Persistence, we saw that the Kraken would lean in, would help get Lucio to get in paint zone, and just kind of everyone from Persistence was trying to go around and follow up with each other, but they couldn't really keep a solid lock because they're diving in really deep into the enemy base on zones, and sometimes that doesn't work out for most people, but in this case I think that was like almost kind of like their only option, because they have to kind of be up close to kind of punish it if they don't have the specials to do so. And so they did attempt that, and it was working there for a little bit, but unfortunately didn't work out for them in the end.
You know, when push comes to shove, it's gonna be those little tiny margin differences that make everything change, and ultimately that's just the deciding factor. And it's rough that it had to end on splat zones for them, where they had previously lost in the set, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Well, they are down in the losers bracket, but they can still fight their way back up, so they still have a chance there. But yeah, that is the end of the third set there. Going to game 5. Unfortunate fourth game that never really happened there, but we got to go to that nail biter of an end.
Yeah, hey, speed running to game 5 challenge. There we go. Hey, we finally get to see healthy diet food groups. Not the team that I was like gunning for, but I kind of wish I could go back in time and see what game Orca Balestra took off of HDFG before getting knocked down into the losers bracket there. But it is what it is. Though I think we are going to take a very quick little break before we return and watch this set that we are being teased of on the screen. Perhaps? No break. We just say be right back on the screen just to mess with me, JPEG. Is that what we're doing tonight? If we're just putting little messages on screen so that Siren can say them out loud and look like an absolute fool? Yeah. Yeah, uh-huh.
It's, you know, just let it be all there. But this game was basically almost ready, set to go, and yeah, Catnip and healthy diet food groups.
JPEG, why don't you write something silly like, I have a pet gerbil on my head on that block there, right there, and then I'll say it aloud, and everyone will be in chat like, haha. Siren has a pet gerbil on her head. Why don't you do that? Why don't you say, oh, I just spilled spaghetti all over my lap and my legs are burning because there's hot tomato sauce just burning my thighs off. How about that? I'll just say it aloud and then I'll look like an absolute fool.
So you're talking about spaghetti and sauce and all that. Meanwhile, my pickup for SOS is usually named Sauce or Spaghetti.
I was thinking, I had noodles on the brain because I think the last time I commentated a PG, I dropped a noodle on the ground and I couldn't stop thinking about it because it was dark in my room and I was like, I couldn't see the noodle. And I thought I dropped a noodle, and I was like worried because I wanted to turn up the lights, but also I couldn't see the noodle, and I was like, what if I roll my chair back and I suck the noodle into the wheels of my chair? It was just a whole dilemma, and there's a small part of my brain that is kind of like, what if that noodle actually did exist, and what if it's in my chair still right now? What if I have a noodle chair, like, forever, and I just wouldn't know because it's perfectly tangled up in the part of the wheels that I cannot see?
That just went deep.
So JPEG gave us a different stream topic. Room has no password, and someone random joined, and that's why we haven't started a game yet.
Set passwords, everybody!
Yeah.
There's times where it works, but, there's always that one person who's just gotta make your life that much harder. I know there's those times where it's just like, oh shoot, I forgot to set a password. Just quickly join so we can start, and you can get away with it. But, if it's taking a bit and it just goes like, okay, Well, there's this rando here. They can't spectate. Please leave. Where's the kick button? Where?
that does need to be added into Splatoon, but
Kinda does, but you know, that's why they have passwords. But
think of all the innovation we could make. Anytime somebody plays a weapon you don't like, there you go. Just do it during the scrim, password or not. There you go.
That would be that would not be good.
Gus, you say, why are my letters capitalized? Have you looked at your Twitch username? Why don't you tell us why your name is capitalized? You did this. That was your own doing.
Card has been played.
We aren't typing every name manually out into the live stream. This is your doing. What do you think the GUS stands for in Gus? An acronym, right?
I am not I'm not that creative right now. It's gonna hit me in like the middle of the set to come up with just some random thing.
Gaming under stress.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going into a Clam Blitz museum. Catnip versus Healthy Diet Food Groups. Familiar team names, of course, we all know. We are getting ready to roll. Bamboo making an appearance, fighting a leader. We see the dualies, Zap Shot, which you could see in most, in a good number of games these days. And the Neo Machine is also appearing on the side of Healthy Diet Food Groups. Everything changed all at once when I was trying to read one thing, and I'm like, uh-oh, it reversed.
Yeah. Look, give the stream some time to catch up to itself a little bit there, I suppose. Very early on there, I am now finally noticing, I was going off on a tangent there, but now I see the absolute power of Catnip that brought it to this point in the tournament now. They have Twig on their side, and Twig is absolutely doing numbers here, taking out Blop, and getting out of their base is going to be a great thing to do in the first minute of any Clam Blitz game, really.
Twig did get shut down there. We do see that Catnip does have a good number of clams at the ready. Wavebreaker has been deployed. It looks like the leader gets taken down. We see Twig is back and was kind of moving around here. Stan just trying to take a fight with this, maybe trying to get a pick, but nope, 5th gen coming in to get that pick there, and Twig following up, getting the one that finished that off, taking 2 down in total, so we still have kind of an upper hand here. Twig just moving around, trying to find the shots to maybe get this pick, but just falls slightly short. 2 for 1 for that happened there, and we see Healthy Diet Food Groups, again, trying to take the plat, but there's always somebody in the way there, and we haven't found a full way. Both teams down to eat clams, so one can make a power clam, but there hasn't been enough for a solid push. It looks like we got one now. Power clam's been made. We see Kelp with a couple others. Zuka is here at the ready, but we Catnip is just hiding around the side here, and I think that was 5th gen running off to the side there, being a decoy. Good, Siren?
No. Like, actually, the whole thing went away from me for a bit there, so it's still great. I can kind of hear the game a little bit, but yeah.
Well, I will just keep going, and you can just cut me right off when you can see things again. So right now we got 2 down on the side of Healthy Diet Food Groups. We see Potato on the leader here, holding mid, just trying to get a pick on one member of Healthy Diet Food Groups on the backside of the plat there. We can see Potato got the jump shot. There we go. That's what they wanted. Picking the one up, trying to go up high. Nice shot there by the leader. Twig here going around the other side. Bamboo does go down. 1 for 1. Drinks are out. Toxic missed on the ramp here to try to slow them down a little bit. When Zuka comes out, Twig does have their Zuka at the ready. Lots of bombs. You can see a lot of moving around here. Clam Economy is at the ready on the side of Catnip. Zuka out. The Stamper is down. Catnip really trying to make something out of this here. We see Twig and 5th Gen trying to move up. A counter Zuka does happen, and just Healthy Diet food groups are not letting Catnip up this ramp. It is an absolute fight. The rest of the team just decides to go down the ramp to be able to flush out Catnip, and now it's going complete reverse. Nice, quickly direct shot from Kelp there, pushing members out, going around here. It just, reverse scenario, even though, 1 for 1, lots of trade. This is very even. Again, Clam Economy still in favor for the side of Catnip. There we go. Drinks are out. Luna has popped drinks. We can see that paint control is there. The mist just putting a little bit of a delay. I think a score might happen here in the next second. There we go. Score has happened on the side of Catnip. Finally able to break the basket. 2 down on the side of Catnip. It's just 5th Gen left alive. 5th Gen now taken down. Score down 271. 45 seconds less in the game. That was the first score of the game. Healthy Diet Food Groups is now retaking control of mid. There is still a lot of green ink on that left-hand side that is there for a potential flank if they decide to take it. But it looks like tri-strikes are appearing. They really want to make this push. They did take down the leader. They did take down the zap. They took down the shot. It's just the crab here in the corner. They do have a clam on that side. Oh no, the clam does go down from that. I have the sides reversed. There we go. Healthy Diet Food Groups breaks the basket, coming to try to score a second clam. They aren't able to get the other clam. It is wiped out by Catnip. There is 3 seconds left, and the game is over. What a final ending there. Just the delayed end, and Healthy Diet Food Groups just close to taking that, but Catnip just in the way, shuts down the jump, so the push cannot go any further. I know Siren was struggling with technical difficulties. I don't know if you fixed it at all.
It's all just robot for me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Robots.
Siren is having technical difficulties, but anywho, in the game that you couldn't see Siren where it cut off, I think it cut off where Catnip was trying to get up the ramp. It Uno reversed, and then it Uno reversed again, and then Catnip was able to score finally after getting a 3-down scenario, and then Healthy Diet Food Groups finally managed to push up the ramp. Jumps were put in. They had 2 power clams, but everything was shut down right away. They didn't even get the second clam. The second power clam jumped in. That was that game, but it took 4 minutes before the basket was broken.
I did get a little bit of the end there. Did see some very promising moments for Healthy Diet Food Groups where it looked like they were just going to be able to open that basket, and they did get it open, but not quite being able to follow through with that jump in as they initially had planned.
But yeah, they had the right idea. Just got shut down by Catnip right there. But we're going quickly into the next map mode. Again, I'm not too sure what you can see and can't see, so you'll have to let me know. There.
The vision's pretty okay right now. I say that for the very moment in time that we are living. Can't make promises for 10-20 seconds from now.
Alright, so we're on Ship Shape Tower. This one has got quite the bottom checkpoint, if it can be. We see the Zeko Fin charger appearing, I believe, from Potato instead of E-Leader this time. Bamboo opting to stay, and as I say that, they end up getting picked, along with the bucket. And the dualies go down on the side. Catnip with the first initial push here. Tri-strikes at the ready. It's going tri-strike for tri-strike here. And the T-Tech trying to come around the side here, put a few splat bombs around. We see 5th Gen and the Crab rolling around with being supported by Luna, and then Twig on the side here popping a Zuka to help them out. We see 2 down again on the side of Healthy Diet Food Groups. The Zap goes down in return. Drinks are out. 5th Gen just getting taken down by the whale at the end, but Twig is underneath here looking to see if maybe they can escape and get a pick, but just constantly moving here so they cannot get hit.
Well, I'm not catching a whole lot, but what I am catching is Twig's movement, which is very impressive. the way that they've been able to dodge a lot of the damage getting thrown at them, despite the fact that they are way up in the face of healthy diet food groups, and that really did help warrant them that push of 28 in that moment there. Is just staying alive and causing a lot of chaos, which is it's clearly what Twig does well.
Yeah, Twig definitely has a lot of moves there. You can see that just always up front, constantly moving, not staying in one place for too long, just for how much stuff is being put in the way, which helps to not get hit. We see Potato here with the tri-strikes at the ready. Actually, 3 specials on the side of Catnip, and 2 of them being used here in this scenario. Zuka is here for Twig when needed. Suction Bomb being thrown ahead, but you can see Twig just carefully moving around it. Taking the spot to go forward when it's given to them, is caught out here by the T-Tech, and strikes are in return. Second checkpoint has been broken, though. We're down to 15. We see 5th Gen moving in, trying to get a couple picks here. Did have some support from a teammate to get that one pick down, even though they didn't get it. There was help acquired there, being bait. Dualies are very good at being bait for other people behind trying to follow up.
Yeah, with the speed that they are able to approach a lot of obstacles, it does really put a lot of people into alert mode, which can catch a lot off guard, and it does allow them to make a lot of plays, just like the one you saw there. And I think finally we might start being able to see healthy diet food groups get some points onto the board there, which is desperately needed now that we're more than halfway through the game here. They gotta start making some progress, or else Catnip is just gonna keep doing what they want.
Stan was trying so hard to break that crab baller, but 5th Gen said, nope, I'm just gonna keep rolling, and I just might get you for it, and that's exactly what happened. So we get a good old crab baller mode steamroll. Kelp here going up on the side here, trying to add some pressure. Zuka at the ready, just at the very edge of these tri-strikes, pushing all of the members back a bit as they try to approach from a different side. We see that the shot is down, but good shot from Potato to take 1, but does go down in return. 3 down on the side of Healthy Diet Food Groups to 2. So kind of going back and forth here, but now we got 3 down on the 3 down on Healthy Diet Food Groups again here. Is 5th Gen able to jump in and help the teammates there, and Tower just going up into the top corner. They still do have a very strong lead. There's a minute left in this game, and Healthy Diet Food Groups just has to figure out a way to push out Catnip. They do manage to pick off the Zap. It looks like the T-Tech is going to try to find another pick here. Isn't able to find it. Moving around with Paint Given, we see the Slosher going down, 2 going down on the side of Catnip. Healthy Diet Food Groups being given an opportunity now with some specials being used, and members pushing up for the tower. 30 seconds left to go in this game, sorry.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say at this point. Healthy Diet Food Groups needs to make everything they're putting out right now count a lot, and it is a very worrying sight when you see no more specials on deck with that crab being popped only around the first checkpoint area, because now they don't really have as much power to rely on here. Is this going to be Stan and the one person riding the tower, Stan, saying, all right, I'll make it count as much as I can. They're moving back to the tower. They're going to have to host some jump-ins, but with 3 seconds left, it's getting a little bit worrying here. They are very much susceptible to things like the strikes coming out, and that is going to seal the deal for Catnip in taking game 2 of the set.
Wow. For Stan versus the world there, Stan did very well. Keeping the tower in play, getting picks, had a moment in time for their teammate to try to get something done on the left there. It didn't work out, of course, because strikes were able to make their way out in the end, but solid effort though, even though with the one person left alive, it ain't over till it over, but very good attempt there from Stan.
Yes. Stan, really strong effort towards the end of the game there, but you know, when you're getting those sub 20, sub 10 pushes on a map like that one, it can be very difficult to make up for lost time there, and all that pressure on in a minute or less under you know, in the last few moments of the game. Every single thing counts, and it just wasn't enough in that moment. Though Rainmaker Scorch Gorge is coming around the corner there, so that's a whole new opportunity to take this back. We do have the opportunity for a reverse sweep. And, you know, I'm a little bit tired tonight, didn't sleep too well, so that probably means that we're gonna end up going to a game 5, because it's always when I, you know, I am trying to maybe head out convenient. I'm not like I'm dipping, guys, but I'm like, you know, 3-0 wouldn't be too bad right now.
Fair enough, but let's see what Healthy Diet Food Groups is going to bring here. They're going to actually, it's just going to be basically similar things here. Zekofin staying out as well, Bamboo sticking as well, and the Bamboo popping off at the start here, getting 2 picks, helping to lead the way with Kelp here with the Rainmaker. Looks like they do eye the Charger. They want to make sure that the Charger can't pick off that Rainmaker. Checkpoint denied by the members of Catnip, but of course it's going to be exploded. There's specials to follow up, but it is still continuously being denied, but one's going to get it. Are they going to get it? Yes, they do. They are finally able to get that checkpoint, so they have checkpoint freedom there, and what a start from Healthy Diet Food Groups there. Bamboo just coming around the corner and able to help finish off 2 picks to help get this first checkpoint.
You definitely see Luna there playing a bit with maybe the prongs out, trying to figure out if anyone else from Healthy Diet Food Groups is kicking around still. Though Kelp kind of getting onto the back foot, you can see here, having to pop that Inksuka because their teammates did go down there and they don't really want to risk anything suspicious happening in that time. So actually able to get that Rainmaker out of the way in a rather, I would say, inconvenient spot for a team like Catnip to grab.
Yeah, absolutely, and just Healthy Diet Food Groups putting a fight there, Kelp popping off, and the rest of the team just taking away the center area, and they're doing a really good job at holding back Catnip right now. You can see that they're just stuck underneath here, and the Stamper has a pretty good solid line there that can charge, but unfortunately unable to hit the 2 shots. You can see that they really wanted to hit them. They were all lined up. Bamboo moving forward with the Slosher here. Bamboo being on the aggressive here, which is usually a good thing here for Rainmaker, is able to stay alive. Does have Wheel at the ready. Is going to use that to spot out 5th gen, making them drop along with themselves. Is going to move around. It's just the Bamboo here. Is able to get that trade though. Map control is quickly going back into the favor of Catnip, but there's usually somebody with from Healthy Diet Food Groups just sticking in the middle, just trying to hold ground, but Potato finding that last one, able to pick them off on the corner, and Catnip now wants to take this one back to the checkpoint into Healthy Diet Food Group side.
Yeah, you definitely see a lot of effort being put out from Catnip here to try and make their time with the Rainmaker matter a lot. You see a lot of people who fight, and they don't really want to have somebody dedicated to picking up that Rainmaker and dropping it and picking it up and dropping it. They want every single push to matter, and they want to get the quickest path no matter what, just so they can go back to fighting and winning their games and subsequently, like, you know, getting those results that way.
I'm loving Blowford's Bamboo on this map here. They're playing up front here. They're helping poke out, and it's working out really well for them. It's just, you don't see it very often from a number of Bamboo players, and seeing it here is great. Like, you do see it from time to time, but just going up like that, acting like where a frontline would be, that is a good amount of confidence, and Blowfer was doing a solid job during this game on the Bamboo here.
Yeah, Blop definitely being the caretaker for the members of Healthy Diet Food Groups in that moment. Stan here, once again, kind of playing a bit of a role of a skirmisher here and trying to make moves happen for them, which is, you know, I would say quite needed. 53 is nothing to sort of lay back on, and when you're dealing with a team as aggressive as Catnip, you kind of have to play aggressive to almost play defensive, because you never want them getting past this specific point. But, you know, that's a lot easier said than done when 3 members of your team go down. And this is quite the dangerous situation, as we are seeing them push that Rainmaker and reclaim that lead down to 24 with just 30 seconds left to go.
Yeah, they finally got the push that they wanted. Healthy Diet Food Groups held it for a good amount of time, and it looks like they want to try to get the Rainmaker down and out on the side. Kelp just trying to get ahead here, but of course being picked off by the 2 in the way. Luna's going to jump out here while Potato and Luna kind of hold the line. Potato hitting the side shots. Anybody who peeks that side is generally getting picked off by Potato.
Yes. And you know, when you have that Rainmaker, you kind of pick it up before overtime. That is a very worrying situation, because you've basically now started overtime with half the time you would normally have accrued at this point, because you're dealing with that Rainmaker timer. So sometimes it is a little bit strategic to die before overtime starts, so you don't deal with situations like that where you can get just trumped instantly by a Zuka, and you didn't really have a chance to back up or anything, because you don't really have time to afford it.
Even said that what a game there. Catnip able to take it back at the end. The overtime push there. 5th Gen was able to sneak their way in to pick off the at the very end. And I'm sorry, Blop, for mispronouncing your name several times. But you know, Catnip able to take it back in the end. But Healthy Diet Food Groups definitely showing a lot more control in that last game, and unfortunately lost it in the last 30 seconds. But like I said, Blop's Bamboo just continuously holding forward there was really helping the front line for Healthy Diet Food Groups go in and just maintain control, and just right off the get-go too. It was there, it made its presence, and it's like, now you get to deal with me. It's like
all right, so that is going to be it for me and Debbie tonight. Debbie, do you have anything to say to the gamers before you dip out?
You guys are all amazing.
Awesome.
There we go.
I normally do the same sort of checkout, and I say, hey, I'm Siren, you can find me here, but I think I have a better suggestion, because I know we're going to have a break in between now, and usually a lot of people dip out in that time. I would like to play a fun little game to introduce Nox and K-Bot into the stream tonight. And if you know the actual answer, I don't want you to play this game, but I would like you guys to tell me what you think the K in K-Bot stands for. Please be family friendly, and I will decide the best answer, or I suppose the quote-unquote correct answer, and I'll put that on my Twitter later. All right, have fun.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Proving Grounds 28. My name is Kbot, and you would know what the K stood for if you looked at my Twitter profile. And I am now joined by Nox Raven 42. I don't know why I bothered saying your entire name.
Yeah, you full named me. That's so weird.
I did.
Why would you full name me?
You know, I'm not sure.
Also, the K definitely does just stand for Kbot. I don't know what you mean.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What have I ever been wrong?
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna stick with it.
Up first is Winners Finals for us. We finally have a match, as it turns out. Waddle versus Catnip. And relatively familiar names on both these teams. Apparently Catnip is an actual team, but not just a random pickup.
It's a pickup group that is in theory a team. Well, no, they're a
where is it on my team cycle?
Group.
Where is it on my team cycle?
They've been playing together for many months now. They're too big of a group for me to be willing to give them the name team.
Right.
They are a pickup group that plays together a lot.
Okay.
Because I think there might even be a few more of them than on the roster here. Like, it's a big group of people that just kind of play under the same name.
All right. Well, we'll see what they've got in store for us tonight. As we get loaded into things here, Carbon Roller? Ooh, that's interesting. I was about to be like, oh, pretty significant comps. Then I saw Carbon Roller.
Carbon Roller is not that uncommon, though.
It's not that uncommon, but it's uncommon enough to talk about it momentarily.
That's fair. Interesting to see so many Zukas out. Don't usually see that many of them anymore. Henry going in, finding essentially a double potato, looking out with this Splatterscope here. Interesting to see a Splatterscope coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it probably makes sense in theory if you've got a bunch of short-range shooters that Backliner is going to want to be more mobile, especially if you have like a dedicated NZAP user most of the time that's just more comfortable playing simple. So certainly would make sense to go for a more mobile something like the ZF specifically, but we'll see whether or not it's able to have any impact. It certainly won't have an impact as Henry's able to come up from behind, take down Potato. Looking for Luna here as well. Doesn't find that one. Looks like this will be the end of the push for Waddle here. It's Catnip to start pushing back.
Yeah, Catnip should have a good bit of resources to work with here. Probably going to focus on displacing that pencil. Not going to be able to. Mine's 2 with Bazooka shot, though. You got to make sure that when there's a Bazooka ready, you don't stand on top of each other. It's bad.
What else is bad is a wipeout. And
yeah,
that is exactly what just happened against Waddle D. That'll be the first check going to the favor here of Catnip. And they'll start building up a little bit more space. You see them start to set up their defenses here on the left side, but 5th Gen's got this crab tank here on stack. Going to be a little bit difficult to challenge, and indeed, Waddle dives in, gets punished for it instantly. Another near wipeout here. Twig already in beautiful position with this Inkzuka. This one is looking like it's going to be quite a significant push here for Catnip. They do go 2 down, so the game might not be over quite yet. And it looks like the cleanup's going to come through for Waddle. Down to 12, that 3rd checkpoint is going to be a long road to climb here.
Yeah, especially as 2 of them go down to this dually player. Especially, they had a couple specials ready, but they weren't really painted up enough to be able to take much advantage of anything. And they kind of rushed into mid a little too fast to be able to take advantage of the picks they had gotten.
Shoving that carbon roller forward once again is Waddle, but doesn't quite pan out the way they'd want. Now, Twig being pesky and will be forced to jump away with Inkzuka being shot right there. But even still, not the level of pressure you want to see in blue overall, especially by the fact that the tower's on the opposite side of the map. But now maybe an opportunity. 2 down on the side of Catnip here. We see the tripling strikes start to get challenged and thrown towards this top side, but it feels like they're a little early. Catnip to be able to come on back in here with their own strikes, start trying to put some pressure here towards this tower, but the first checkpoint wasn't there in the first place. Now Twig going to try to come up here, getting something done, finds a trade, but is going to end up getting taken down. Looks like we still see this Charger player on top of the tower, throws that cooler down, and so this push doesn't quite look very solid here.
No, they're keeping it alive, sort of, but they just they haven't been using their resources at good times. Like, now is a really strange time to use those trip strikes. Nobody can move in with them. They're just kind of pushing the Charger back, but they could have accomplished that same thing just throwing some slap bombs up there and not using their trip strikes until more like now, maybe.
Potentially now, especially with Henry in position, but Henry will be able to catch one off guard. Looking for a second, can't quite find the fall off, and has revealed their position as well. And any advantage that Henry might have had is now effectively dissipated with members of Waddle going down as well. Strikes get thrown. Again, trying to apply some pressure here, but none of the members of Catnip appear to be around. They are very patiently playing this defense in orange. They don't want to overextend, just like they know their opponents stepped into themselves earlier. But now with a minute left, we're starting to see a further push for Waddle. But even still, special setup here. You see the Catnip holding down this side of the map. They're going to start pushing forward, and now they're going to take the advantage as they're all coolered up, and they will. 3 down situation now. Catnip is sitting pretty in mid with just 30 seconds about to.
Yeah, definitely a situation you want to be in as Catnip. They should feel very comfortable right now. They've got specials ready, they've got trip strikes, they've got crab tank, they even have Azuka. So they should just be good to kind of chill here. Using the crab to find that pick there, definitely not bad, probably not ideal, but they've got trip strikes online, which are just a GG tower moment.
Every single special getting used here by Catnip. They're just trying to stagger them, and now they're going to go 2 down with an some kind of push coming through from Waddle. They've got to find their way towards this tower, though, and there just is not the blue ink around to support that. Doesn't look like that'll be the case, and so it will be game 1 going to Catnip.
Yeah, just really great defense there out of Catnip. Like, obviously they had a good push, but what was more impressive was how willing they were to just let Waddle get those tiny extra little point increments in without feeling the need to panic rush in.
And that is the name of the game, really, in a lot of cases, right? The thing that stands out to me the most is when you're making that decision across the board, you have to make that decision together as a team, right? And that's exactly what Catnip was doing. They did not all run in, but when they did, they finally said, okay, it's go time. We're going to flick the switch, throw the cooler out in front of us, and start running at them when we know we can actually find the advantage. But you definitely, if you're playing that defensively, you don't want to have one person go in just trying to make a play because they think they can and not have the rest of the team follow in on top of that. Catnip did an excellent job not letting that happen, stood strong on the defenses, and then was able to clean things up on the back half. That'll net them the victory here for Tower Control Maker Mart. But now we'll go on to Rainmaker Undertow Spillway. It was decently close back and forth, but there is a universe, I think, where Waddle might enjoy themselves a little more in this map.
Definitely.
They were the one with the snipe rider, right? So,
they were.
Looking for a little bit more of a mobile composition.
Yeah, I also was a little surprised to see I don't know. Their comp just was not as wild as I would have expected with those players. Oh, nope, I got Henry and Red Shell confused in my brain again. That's my bad. It happens. I was surprised there wasn't a brush, and I figured it out.
I think it's, Red Shell, we did mention it was like, oh, it's the Henry Red Shell pickup, and then Red Shell is actually playing right now. So, that explains why the comment roller is it.
That does explain it. It's just, I was so sure that there would be a brush, and there wasn't. Always weird to see an Henry pickup without a brush. So used to seeing them and Red Shell play together.
Yeah. Very similar compositions here. One thing to comment on is the addition of this squeezer, I'll say, above all else, which will provide a little bit of extra range, despite, sacrificing that, potential snipe rider play there as well. You still have a lot of area denial with that squeezer.
Yeah. If anything, and it's also just so consistent if you hit your shots with it. It's such a ridiculous... It has no right to tear through things the way it does.
Yeah.
Huh.
What's going on with
that Rainmaker?
Something
cooked over there.
Questions.
Because that should have been a push. By all means, that should have been Waddle Dee's push. Somebody was over there. Somebody was infiltrating and causing issues.
Might have been that. Well, actually, I don't know exactly what it was.
I think it was likely Twig. It's just interesting.
Twig thing to do.
It does seem like a Twig thing to do. It seems like one of the 20 million Twigs things to do.
Yeah.
We see Azuka ready. They're looking for picks again. Doesn't seem like anyone's going to be able to be behind them this time. They should be able to consider starting a push here. Little surprised they haven't already.
That's the thing right now is that Catnip is playing, once again, taking very passive positions here. They are not afraid to start utilizing or setting up their defenses around this checkpoint, but they have to be careful here. They might just sacrifice this pedestal pretty quickly if they're not careful. Now, finally, they'll commit their special resources to ensure that the checkpoint doesn't get taken. Well done on the defensive side. I can tell they've been thinking about it, working on it quite a bit. Yeah,
definitely. It seems like something they've definitely been focusing on. It was just interesting to see how long it took Waddle Dee to push up there. That is 2 going down to 1 Zuka shot. Once again, don't stand on top of each other when the enemy team has 2 Zukas. It's not good.
Not ideal.
Hurts. Feels bad. Physically.
Yeah.
You take physical damage, actually, when both of you die to 1 Zuka shot.
Yeah. Especially because of how much you'll win to the pain afterwards. Here we go, though. Waddle Dee looking for the push, but it'll get interrupted by triple strikes once again coming out of Catnip. They're holding this incredibly well, and now they've got plenty of area control around the Rainmaker, looking to continue collapsing around this. But now it looks like kind of a retake comes through from Waddle Dee. Back from behind, they find the 3-down situation, and this will almost assuredly be the checkpoint. Well done and quick thinking to all collapse around that play all at once, and now we'll see if they can get any bonus points to the board. Henry will pop the Rainmaker. Wait to pick it up just yet. Maybe looking to try to charge up Bazooka. Can't quite find it or something there. Okay, no. Yeah, Tide Cooler's finally down, but Twig is charged up Bazooka in the meantime. Is going to be able to find one, and now that is the wipeout coming in the nick of time here for Catnip. Finally, they'll relieve the pressure here in this element.
Yeah, Henry doing a good job here of moving up, taking some space forward while still playing safe and making sure not to be overly exposed, taking advantage of, like, half cover. Add, like, a +5 to AC for it, you know?
Yeah. Sure. You just said some letters and numbers.
Yeah, everyone knows everything about D&D. Everyone thinks about half cover rules on a regular basis.
Uh-huh. As far as I'm concerned, the only half cover I know is Mario and Rabbids.
We're seeing the carbon roller moving in there, trying to find a pick on the charger, not quite finding it, getting close to the Zuka. This is a triple Zuka comp. It's been a while. Haven't seen one of these in a minute. They're not usually too great these days, but if everyone hits their Zuka shots, yeah, sure, why not?
Well, that is the key to hit your Zuka shots, and I think that's one of the reasons why Catnip is playing so defensively. They do not want to get picked off by these Zukas. The counter to that, though, or the flip side of it is, they're not pushing hardly at all. They're now going to enable things like Zeepus just coming on a flank angle, find 2 people down, and once again, make things so weak for Catnip to try any chance of actually solidifying anything to move forward. Sure, they can hold this elbow defensively, but it's not going to mean anything unless they can get a push off in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it's not going to look like they're going to be able to. Like, obviously, they're getting the picks, but also Waddle is just as capable of defending an elbow as they are. Their comp is just as good for that. They've got 2 suction bombs, a burst bomb, a carbon that can just drop and decide to do this, causing absolute havoc, preventing any forward momentum, and allowing the rest of their teammates to completely paint mid, which is so important in this kind of scenario.
I heard the Jaws theme there for a moment from that carbon roller as it came out and was able to find 2 members of Catnip, catching them by surprise. We do see Rainmaker get picked up here. There might be a disconnect.
There is a disconnect.
Of it,
but there's Azuka.
There's Azuka. Game over.
Look,
GG.
if you're gonna have a DC, there's the timing you want it in, really. As a player, like, it still adds more stress, but you've got Zukas to shoot, you've got space painted, they need to clear a checkpoint, you have suction bombs, you have a carbon. I think it might have been the carbon that DC'd. I didn't notice who DC'd. But they had enough resources and enough sub-weapons that I don't think they were too worried about it.
Yeah. One thing I will say, though, obviously we were complimenting Catnip's defensive play in Tower Control Mega Bar. You gotta find a way to push an advantage every once in a while, and they could not find that whatsoever. I don't know if it's they're so afraid now that the carbon roller is just gonna jump out. But in theory, they should probably have enough paint coverage to be able to sniff out where their carbon is, as long as they are slowly moving forward over time. And it felt like they weren't really moving forward ever. They weren't continuing to build on top of things and choking out the carbon by slowly pushing it back and not giving it any paint support to do so. Instead, just kind of, being forced to dive in there at the very end because they couldn't find anything earlier in the game. So we'll see what is happening here. Hopefully, there will be some adjustments made, but now we're going to Splat Zones on Hagglefish Market, probably a map that both these teams are incredibly, comfortable on.
All of these maps so far have been things teams are very comfortable on, K-Bot.
I would hope so. Actually, every single one of these should be.
They absolutely should be. They are the bogs. If you were to ask me to create not the most generic, but a very generic Splatoon 3 list of maps to play, this would be on it. Nobody's really nobody's gonna pitch a fit over these. Everyone will just go, yeah, that's what we play.
Popgun's gonna pitch a fit if we go to game 5, but
TC Inkblot isn't fun. Inkblot isn't fun.
I have another comment that is completely unrelated to everything we were talking about.
Okay.
And I thought about it in the middle of game 1, and I didn't have a chance to bring it up. So now I'm just inserting it randomly into the show.
Okay.
There's a player on Waddle whose current IGN is Fart Blast 2.
That's very true.
I don't know why it suddenly popped in my head, but I was like, if that comes up, I would have called the player Slartabart Fats. Whatever the fuck that
What
name
does that mean, K-Bot?
You know exactly what it means. Why don't you explain it to the audience?
I genuinely don't know what that means.
What? That's the name of the guy from Hitchhikers.
Oh, I haven't reread Hitchhikers in forever. I'm not good at names. I remember that there was a red vinyl leather couch. Is that helpful?
No. In fact, I think that's from the second book.
No, that's from the first book. I wrote a Battle of the Books question on it. So that's from the first book.
Okay. Well.
Here, I'll reference D&D and Battle of the Books in the same commentary block.
I think we're just trying to out-nerd each other at this point. Is that what this is? I feel like that's almost what this is.
Surely you win that. Surely the fact that I listen to cool music and have dyed-hair pronouns carries me. Surely the dyed-hair pronouns do something.
The adaptation here from Catnip is a couple more back to their shorter range things, and they're coming up with a Tetris of all things, which hopefully will keep up the pace of play at least a little bit. But we see this Charger come back out as well. It's able to apply a little bit of pressure, but gotta be careful when you're running against 2 Zukas.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that 5th gen on Tetra is a pretty normal pick for them. I know they primarily played Viper for a while, but seeing them on Tetra, definitely not too shocking. They're very used to that skirmish role, so they should be pretty comfy here. Smart job on Henry's part to just outweigh the Zuka. I like that Waddle added in the Crab for this map. I think Crab is still so great here.
Yeah, plenty of vantage points for that Crab to have such a large impact on the map. And look, if you're going to end up thinking about going back to a backliner, my goodness, collateral coming through on the Zuka gets 2. and might cause an opening here for Waddle. We'll see if they're able to find the hold, though, which is the one thing I'm most afraid of with this composition. Don't have a lot of tools to do that, especially once this crab gets taken out, and it just has, but we see Slaughterbar Fast here holding it down with the Snipe Rider. Gets at least one, and Henry's still in position underneath this tent. We'll see if they're able to hold on here, but Catnip is slowly going to charge up their specials to look for an engagement there.
Yeah, but just about it. There's that Tetra being able to reslide and just recap the zone. That's going to be very annoying for Waddle. Not necessarily the most effective thing. I don't think it's going to stop anything if they manage to get really set up like they're about to with this crab tank here. It's just annoying because you have to rework through penalty. It does drag it out, and that along with the trip strikes does just provide so much paint to the zone. But in this case, the trip strikes weren't even enough to flip it, kind of showing that they maybe were used a bit early. Teammates couldn't move in with them.
Yeah.
There's the Reef Slider capping the zone.
There it is. Round of applause for the Reef Slider capping the zone. Ingenious gameplay. I mean, you don't actually see the Reef Slider that often, so in fairness, it actually comes out and it does actually prove useful every once in a while, but
oh, right. Not everyone has played with a Reef Slider player for multiple months. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, no, it's real good at capping this zone in particular. It's exceptionally good at capping this particular zone. It's good at it in general, but this zone, it pretty much will always insta-cap. There's a lineup for it and everything. Like, it's not... It's pretty normal to see.
If you know, you know, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the way it goes. This zone has been contested for a long amount of time by both these teams, continue to fling everything at it, but it looks like Catnip will finally be the ones to walk away, and they're going to be in knockout territory here pretty soon. The penalty is going to expire, and now 30 quick ticks to the timer. That's all that remains between them and knocking out. We'll see what the engagement is. Waddle is looking to move in immediately. You see both Zukas pop, but now the strikes, and here comes the Reef Slider as well from 5th Gen, trying to build up a little bit more space. Zenith's going to get collapsed on from this crab tank, but Twig is going to go down in the process. Need to focus on the zone, and they will in the nick of time. Clutch it out, and Waddle going to still need to find a hold for a long while, but a stagger of 2 down is going to be a good start.
Yeah, especially having that Zuka already online, close to Crab, close to another Zuka. Gonna be able to pick off that Tetra, preventing that insta-cap from happening. Always nice to do. And that Zuka shot to paint for their Carbon was really nice to see. Definitely allowed them a little extra holding space here. And now the Zuka coming out after the Crab. Zenith gonna manage to drop just in time to stay alive. They're gonna really need to focus on this hold, finding the pick on the Tetra yet again. 5th Gen just not getting out of spawn right now.
Not able to do it, continuing to go through the stagger, but now the trip strikes come out right on top of this zone. You see the transition to go for the paint, and now 3 members of Catnip go down. I don't know what it was to, but Waddle is able to clutch it out at the end. It might have been to that splash player you see sitting on top of that tent. Gonna be infiltrating from behind and taking care of business for the Waddle crew.
Yeah, definitely really great gameplay there out of Waddle. Able to recap that at the last second. Probably made it a little more stressful for themselves than they had to, but it worked out.
Yeah. If it works out at the end, it works out. That's right.
All that matters is that you get the win. And they did have to KO to do it, but they did succeed. That is a map that we see... I don't know. If there's ever a map I expect something like that to happen on, it is Hagglefish. It seems like since we first started seeing it in tournament, it's been a map where you get huge pushes, and then a team wins in overtime. Or gets a KO and the other team is pushed to 1. It seems pretty... It's the map that I definitely see that the most on.
Well, ends up going to Waddle Dee's favor. We'll be heading to Game 4 in just a moment, which will go to Lamblitz on Scorch Gorge. Who do I actually favor? I don't know if I actually favor any of these teams. Like, one of them has a Carbon player, and the other one can keep the pace if they need to, is what I'm kind of getting from this.
Yeah, definitely. And they also, neither of them have, like, there are just, like, neither of them have slosher players, which is something that would give them an edge on this map. Neither of them are playing wall weapons, which I find really useful on this map. Just holding that elbow area can be a pain, or getting in through left bridge can be a pain, kind of without those. Without a slosher or a wall weapon. And so I'm not expecting... Oh, they have a squeezer. JK, they've got a squeezer. They're fine. They have a wall weapon. Oh, and I guess the charger, but that's different. That's a different kind of wall, emotionally.
Is it?
To me it is. They're not going to hold the same positions as like a squeezer or 52 gal would.
I mean, it kind of depends on what you want your squeezer to do. I would think in most cases it can use its range similarly. Sure, it's going to be a little more aggressive, and maybe the charger will be slightly more useless, slightly more of the time with its wall placements, but it could work.
Its wall's just going to be... Oh, and we're already seeing another Zuka double. Seeing those very consistently. Luna got trapped down there, manages to jump out. Looking to find a way in through this left side, forces another jump out. They're going to be able to make a power here, going to try and get one in. Looks like this might be a one-clam push to me. They don't really have a lot of other stuff to work with. Carbon decides to prove me wrong by sneaking a few in, but that should be about it unless they find a miracle double again here, and they're not really bunched up in a way that that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what happens when you try to make a fast push, which, in fairness, Waddle should have done after you get a, double on the collateral like they did. Like Zenith did there, just popping that and happening to find one right as that special was available, but also means you're not going to be able to follow up, though it does appear as though they're able to hold on mid for a decent while, and no team really has special advantage here, though Zenith steps a little bit too far forward, gets taken down by Twig and company, and so we'll see if this starts to swing the other way for Catnip in just a moment, but even still, Waddle holding on to their side of the map very comfortably at this point. Twig looking for position maybe for this Zuka, and now finally the specials onslaught's coming in from Catnip. We'll see Twig probably swing this corner, pop the Zuka in just a moment, I have to imagine, looking for some of these members of Waddle Dee. And there is the lead, switching over to Catnip. Beautiful play to try to push in here, but they don't get a lot of the picks they want to really extend this push. And now it'll go down to the 45-point mark, and it looks like that'll be all she wrote for this push.
Yeah, neither of these teams really have the best pushing power for this specific map. They're both kind of like, and this is more of a zones term obviously, but they're both kind of retake focused comps, which can work fine in Clan Blitz. It's just not, you're not going to see the huge pushes that you'll see from other kinds of comps.
Yeah.
Zenith moving forward here, able to find the pick. This should be a push here. They should be moving up with that. Definitely going to be able to find lead if they move up fast enough and find enough clams. There it is. This could be a KO if they play it right.
They are getting set up pretty well here. You see that squeezer on this top left side. Here comes the Zuka as well. Forces Twig to jump down, but it looks like there's not really much follow-up from Waddle Dee. And I think that'll be the end of this push as well, with no one really around. Cooler coming out here as Catnip looking to try to take care of business, but trade of the primary aggros for both teams will occur, meaning that we're probably just going to see things neutralize, shake that out, back out to this middle part of the map.
Yeah, Catnip just doing what they can to find their way back through mid again. Not a hard... 15 isn't necessarily the hardest push for them to match right now. They need a power... Like, it's a decent number of clams they need, but it's definitely a doable push if they manage to find the space they need. And right now, Waddle Dee just isn't giving them the breathing room they really want. They want to play back, they want to play defensive, and that just doesn't work when you need to get a push off.
Doesn't work at all, and now we'll have to find the adjustment mid-game. 90 seconds basically remain. We'll have to make a push to get back in. And I have certainly made a push. We'll just have to see it come out in much larger fashion. 5th Gen rolling down to this left side, looking to just harass some of those members of Waddle Dee that are playing rather defensively for now. But Carbon Roller dives in, trades again, and that's exactly what this Carbon Roller wants to do. Continue to draw out the match and make it so the Catnip doesn't feel like they can throw all of their chips in all at once.
Yeah, and that's really what they need to do here. And Carbon is such a good weapon at just saying, what if we just don't push though? What if you get one player randomly picked off, I go down, but you lost your pushing power? And that's Carbon, that's Tri-Slosher. It's a lot of frontline fast-killing weapons. Crab coming out here from 5th Gen, looking to create a path in on that right side. Probably not going to be able to in time, and found by the Zuka. Zuka, running Crab when you know the other team could run triple Zuka is a bit of a choice.
It's a bit of a choice. It was made, and now you're starting to see this come through as now Waddle Dee is looking for a push. They'll make the power clam, and now we'll be looking for a little bit more. Here comes Trip Strikes, trying to push them back, and looks like relatively successful in doing so, especially before that last power clam would go in. It wouldn't have been the game right there, and actually Zenith is going to make a dive for it. Wait, it was the game? Was there an actual claim there?
There was a power sitting on the ground still, K-Bot. It hadn't fallen apart yet.
But a power's supposed to be 20 points, and 15 plus 7 is more.
It was 15 plus 4, K-Bot. It was 19.
I swear it was 7.
It was +4.
I swear it was 7. It was 7
Clearly,
for the longest time.
It was. They got in one more clam before that. A while before that.
I'm getting too old for this.
You're younger than me.
My eyes can't see the screen apparently anymore.
Should have gone outside more as a kid.
Me. And it's getting too late. So.
Okay. But that is Waddle Dee taking winners finals, going on to grands. Catnip gonna drop down to losers here for a bit. One set.
Yeah. We'll see if they'll be able to come back as we take a look at the rest of the bracket here. Oh, wow. Actually, we're going to see Catnip next on stream because Losers Bracket has basically caught up with Winner's Side. That's fun. I don't know how that happened, but it works.
It does. Always convenient when it happens.
It means I get to go to bed earlier.
Exactly.
So
I too love going to bed. It is one of my favorite things.
I would not actually go to bed. I would not go to bed.
Oh, I'm going to bed immediately after this. I can't wait. My bed is so comfortable to me. I love it there.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a good place to be.
It is. There's pillows and blankets there.
But it's so cold outside. Oh.
Yeah, colder for you than for me, which is backwards from what it seems like it should be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes being further north makes it warmer? Sure. Sure, I guess.
Sure. You know what? That works.
At this point, why not?
Yeah. Well, now we sit here and twiddle our thumbs, chat. How's it going? Hope you're doing well tonight. We're just gonna keep talking until I get the hook of like, oh, you're done talking. Stop yapping.
Well, okay, but we're both pretty good at just yapping.
We are relatively good. Did we take? Oh, we did take a break at party.
Oh yeah, they kept putting us on breaks. I don't think we asked for them.
That's fair.
I don't know. People either put me on breaks or I keep talking. As a threat, to be clear.
As a threat?
Yeah.
You keep talking as a threat.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Every word I ever say. Yeah, everything about me is terrifying.
Yeah, you with your D&D random interweaving of the reference.
I was right. They had because I'm rewatching a D&D show that I like that actually uses the partial cover rules. Not many things do. And so I'm watching a combat episode. So I was thinking about it and how good partial cover is, because why is just being like halfway covered by something make you like usually at least a third harder to hit mathematically?
What?
It's okay, but how much do you know about D&D?
Very little. I know you roll a 20-sided die.
Correct. Okay, so you have an AC that is usually somewhere between like 10 and 18.
Okay, back up. What is an AC?
Your armor class. You have an armor class.
Thank you.
You have to get a 10 or above. So to hit somebody with a 10 armor class, you have to roll your dice, and they have to be over 10 to hit that person. And so if you get partial cover, you get to add 5 to it. And if you get 3/4 cover, it's like +7. And that's really good because nothing boosts your armor class, really.
So,
well, that's a lie. There's armor that can boost your armor class, but you can't do that mid-battle.
3/4 cover.
Yes, you can get 3/4 cover.
3/4
of your body is hidden.
Covered.
You can't be hit.
Sorry.
You're fully covered.
It's too late. It's too late.
Okay.
I thought you said
I'm so sorry, Kayla.
3/4.
No, it was 3/4.
Well,
Kayla.
Yeah.
3/2? Yeah, that's just full cover. You're just hidden.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah. You're extra hidden, actually, as it turns out.
Yeah, there's something in front of you and also above you and like partially over your back at that point, and all the people are directly in front of you. Anyway, I know a normal amount about D&D mechanics. I have not played it.
A normal amount about a lot of things.
I used to play D&D 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal behavior.
Who hasn't played D&D 5 nights a week?
Me.
I
I
think
played D&D.
Hey,
I
K-pop,
have
I
played
think the
D&D a
answer-
grand total of 0 times in my life.
Oh, that's gotta change.
I don't know about that.
I can change that.
I'm sure you could change that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the middle of running another campaign right now, but I'll start cooking up something. Don't worry about it.
Please do. Oh, please do not.
Why not?
I feel like that would be like a lab experiment. Like,
Yeah,
let's take
and I
this very
look.
pragmatic
My
person.
current D&D campaign was in part a lab experiment. There's 3 Splatoon players in there
Well, yeah.
that are also some of my closest friends, and a couple
Right.
of my other real, my like IRL close friends. But like, you know, sometimes you just need to see what people will do if you hand them D&D, and you learn so much about them. One of them just named a character. Oh,
Love that for them.
there was also that same person also named a character. You are all right. Interesting.
So true. Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some. There's in my current campaign. There's a bird character, called an XOXO, that is a monk that is allergic to magic. That is from a magic
Sorry.
world. You know, they're just constantly
Aarakocra
sneezing.
is the name, or Aarakocra is the species?
Species. They're a bird. They're a bird that they can fly.
Right.
They only live 25 years though, so that's a no.
I mean, 25 years is a relatively long time. I imagine that's longer than most birds.
Okay, but they're like a person humanoid type creature. They're like a human that just is also a bird.
Well, back in the olden days of the Middle Ages,
Wrong.
probably didn't
Stop.
live much past 20.
Wrong. No, people did live to be like 40, 50, 60 pretty regularly if they made it past infancy and childhood.
So the average age was about 25.
Yeah, but that's a like it's an inaccurate way. The average is a bad way of viewing that because so many people died in infancy. Sorry,
What?
I also have a history degree.
Skewing statistics?
Yeah.
What?
This is something that
Oh.
you talk about in history classes of the Middle Ages.
The measures of center are also something that you talk about pretty consistently at any
I don't know what that
science
means.
ever. Measures
What is
of
a measure of
center?
center?
A measure of center is your mean, median, or mode.
Oh, I know what those are. I just didn't know the fancy word you said. The extra words. You said fancy extra words.
Measure of center.
Yeah.
Name the word there that is fancy.
All 3 of them together make one fancy word, actually.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, measure of center. Yeah. It's all one word. Yeah. We have a match at some point soon. Essence was able to beat Choo Choo and Friends, which is
That's-
unfortunate because I'll have to sidebar my Thomas the Tank Engine puns.
That is
Uh,
unfortunate.
That's a joke. I did not have any Thomas the Tank Engine puns. Just ready to rattle off.
Cowards move. You should have.
Yeah, I probably should have.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah. Oh well. That's chat's loss. It's not my loss. I don't really care.
But anyway, Essence, a team that just got back together, actually. They'd been around for a long time. They disbanded. Here they are again.
We're getting
Essence,
the band back
Back
together.
at it. Essence, back at it again at the Krispy Kreme.
At the Krispy. Why the Krispy Kreme specifically?
Yeah, just because that's where they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they're actually all playing from the same Krispy Kreme.
Right.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi. We might see some DCs because of it, but you know,
Yeah.
such is life.
Right.
And Catnip, we just talked about Catnip, essentially a pickup group that's also a team.
I swear, the longer that I just hear about more things, the more I think that the tweet that I made that pointed out the like pickup group into pickup into or like project to pickup group, however the fuck that cycle was, my bad. The more I think about it, the more I listen to all of these stories of all these teams, the more accurate it is.
I mean, that's fair. That is a fair assessment. But also, Catnip's doing something different than what you've just said, because they're just a pickup group that always plays under the same name, and it's too big to be considered a team, even to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a fancy pickup group. A summary.
It's a pickup group in cursive. Ooh.
Yeah, that is different. In essence, pretty much the same roster they've always had. Scotty, I believe, is a new addition. But other than that, it's the same essence we've all seen before. Nothing too different there. I don't know if Nilla still plays Tent. I would be very interested in seeing a Tent come out. Tent is very solid right now.
Luna Zuka in Twitch chat has just typed, "We are a team, not a pickup group." And all
My bad. I misremembered. Happens.
So maybe they are a team with like 10 members of 12 members of the roster. Okay, JPEG said that they were a team like many minutes ago. I was about to say hours ago, but that's not true. I haven't been here for hours.
Well, my bad. I thought I remembered that right. I didn't. I had misunderstood what Catnip was for ages. I have thought about Catnip many times. That's a genuine oopsie. Ooh, Stamper.
And Nautilus. Okay, interesting compositions. I don't even know what the name of this map is, but we're getting into it anyway.
You don't know Robo Roman?
That's the one. I knew it had something to do with Ramen.
It does have a... You want to know... I'm going to out something about Crimson Shadows right now.
Oh boy.
Didn't realize it was a map themed around ramen until like a week ago.
My god.
Just
Like,
hadn't
let's
looked
ignore
up.
the giant ramen bowl on the ceiling.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Just didn't look up.
Yeah, that's...
Anyway,
that's
to talking about the game after I felt that need.
after we sidebarred real quick. Well, Crab Tank out. Feels like that's going to do pretty strong with this map. Able to find one and shut down Catnip's forward presence for a moment. And it's going to be holding on to this zone here for a little while. Might see a lead exchange in a moment. And looking for Twig here, who's trying to escape and now looks for the re-engagement here. The trade will occur. Now you see 5th Gen dropping down here, this time on the Stamper, who gets taken down. So trades back and forth. Essence looking to still hold on to this, but now this bubbler is going to make things rather difficult, and it will mean the flip of the zone. Given that there's a vanilla... Wait, is this the same cat? This is not the same Catnip roster.
It is.
Different people.
No, it's the same roster.
Is it the same roster?
Yes.
I'm seeing a Junior and a Stamper.
Luna used to play Junior in S2. I don't know what 5th Gen's cooking. Good for them. Stamper good here. Stamper good everywhere. That Stamper especially.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 weapons are the same. But yeah, it's the same roster. Too bad to not see Nilla on Tent. I guess I can understand it for this map. And against the Stamper. I don't think they knew they'd be against the Stamper though. But Tent's so good right now. I wish we could see a Tent come out. I also really like Tent with Nautilus.
Good right now?
Yes! It's being run a lot in a lot of JP tournaments, yeah. It's Tent time again, to my knowledge. I could be wrong, TM.
Yeah.
That could be a couple months outdated.
No, you probably know more than I do. So.
Yeah, but sometimes I hear something and I double check it once and it's true that one time and then it's not true again. And I forget to double check it again. Anyway, Sune has these strip strikes ready, gonna be trying to use them to get Essence back in here. Their Nautilus does go down though, not an ideal situation. Potato looking to apply a lot of pressure. It's gonna be hard for Essence to break back in. They don't have a ton to work with.
See if they're able to. First thing they'll start this off is the trip strikes getting thrown right on top of the zones here. We'll see if it's enough to escort them in. Actually, 5th Gen gonna be cut off guard. And now Twig getting taken down as well. Looks like that was just what Essence needed to get themselves back into the zone. Well done to play off of those strikes. Now taking a decent bit of space here into the enemy side of the map. See if they can set up the decent lockout that they need here to hold on to this for some time.
Yeah, that was one of the better uses of trip strikes I've seen. They actually were used at a time where teammates could move in with them in a space where teammates could take advantage. Not something we always see with that special.
Yeah, thank goodness. That's like what I've been saying for 8 months or so. But hey, what do I know?
Good trade.
Trades coming through. We'll see this bubbler again right on top of the zone. Means the instant cap for Catnip. And so back to the drawing board for a moment for Essence. But they were able to get a decent chunk of the way down. As long as they can re-engage here, it looks like they're going to with the cooler coming down, but Wooby's going to get taken down. Scotty still can't quite find a way over the wall to find themselves towards someone. Now Nilla goes forward, able to find one, maybe looking for even more. Another 2-down situation for Catnip here. Essence continuing to push this advantage, and they might be able to take the lead right here.
Yeah, does seem like that might be a thing that can happen here. Always good to be able to get that lead switch in your favor. Always something you're really looking forward. Twig managing to find a pick there with Zuka, but forced to kind of waste a decent bit of time with it just to dodging trip strikes. That was a good use of trip strikes.
Very good use of trip strikes. Now Catnip has got to find a way on top of this zone. Another 10 ticks to the timer, and they are done for. Twig lunges forward, able to find one versus Swoopy. Now 5th Gen able to team up versus Smoothie there, and a little bit of rubber banding, but it does look like Catnip will take back the zone in the nick of time, and now we'll need to hold on to this for a decent chunk of regulation, despite already going 2 members down, including Luna on that junior. Means that Essence going to take back control of the zone, and Catnip's got to set back up to try to go for yet another retake here, and trying to find a hold. Feels like it's going to be rather challenging.
Yeah, definitely should be a bit challenging. The trip strike's at the ready to help them just keep it neutral if they need to. The dually going down is unfortunate, but the crab going to be shredded there by that trip strike. They don't have necessarily the same paint that they'd want to hold this. Scotty attempting to get away here, might not be able to, does go down to Twig, and they just need to, they have to figure out a way in pretty quickly here. Sune looking to find some picks. Crab coming out, but nobody can move in with it. Potato does get pushed back and found out. But Scotty, yeah, trip strikes do cap the zone there. Enough people had to look at other things. Yeah. But that could have gone very wrong for Essence if those trip strikes hadn't worked as well as they did.
Now, by the way, this is a best of 3 losers final, which means that Essence only needs one more in order to get sent back up to go up against Waddle. So they are well on their way here, and Catnip's going to need to find a bit of a response. Felt like some of the times the things they were trying were decent enough, but it also didn't feel like there was a firm identity. Actually, now that I think about it, probably a Crab Tank and a Bubbler fill relatively similar roles in terms of that stabilization and that anchor on the defensive side. You don't really have a lot to actually go for consistent engagements. Most of the time, the engagements were made when the Bubbler was going out. Sure, that's all well and good, but then you don't get a lot of space on top of that. You don't get a lot more forward pressure that you might with Azuka or something, which is one of the reasons why we've seen them favor that a decent bit. So probably going to have to see some adaptation here. Feels like the Crab Tank of the Stamper and the Bubbler, the Junior, are kind of at loggerheads, and a little bit more aggression I don't think would hurt.
No, I definitely agree. And especially with that Junior's Bubbler, what I always want out of a Junior's Bubbler is for aggro players to be able to jump back into it. And I feel like that comp just didn't quite have the pace for it. We are going to be seeing double Zuka now. You did summon that.
Hey.
It'll work, hopefully.
Oh, come on. And it's the most bland version of double Zuka. I'll say it.
It is.
Come on.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's fully functional. It's a very functional comp they've made. I do still really like the Neo Stamper. It's a weapon that I am very fond of conceptually.
No, I mean the rest of the composition I'm fine with. It's just like would you also like a scoop of vanilla ice cream with it? Is the vibe I'm getting, which it does work. I mean, hey, it's going to be enough to actually net them an early advantage here as 3 members go down on Essence. And Twig already pushed up too far. Maybe looking for another early push here on Claim Blitz. They do not have the power claim at their disposal. They're going to shuffle them around, and now they have to take a step back. Forced to pop into the Zuka, but a good collapse comes out of Essence to take back the area behind the spinner. Well done by them to approach from multiple angles, but now they're starting to get traded out. 5th Gen's going to be able to come open more and is still going to stay in this area despite getting swarmed by so many members of Essence.
Trip strikes coming out to clear the plat here, not going to be enough. 5th Gen taking advantage of that Stamper's hitbox around ledges. Really great weapon to just play around them just like a Carbon. And they've got 3 power claims already, which is a little excessive. You don't usually want 3.
Well, they haven't gone for an actual push yet because they haven't really had the opportunity to. In their defense, they might try to here, and now looks like a couple of members of Essence are starting to drop, and the picks are starting to fall to the favor of Catnip. But no, Sune holds it down on this charger, finds at least one, and That'll be enough to make Catnip think twice, especially with how passive they've been playing so far. Here come the strikes again, trying to force these members away, but Twig, nice long shot, taking care of that charger. Shoot-down situation, and I think now's finally the time for this to be nipped in the bud. No, never mind. It's Scotty coming up with 2, meaning that only 1 power claim goes in for now. We'll see if Catnip can actually follow up here, starting to pass things forward, and now we see both those power claims fall in. Well done on the persistence from Catnip here to finally make that push happen, and they've worn off a whole 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, always really important to wind down that clock time. Such a useful thing to do. Like, as much as that's not like the biggest push ever, 40 is a solid push. It's not an unbeatable push by any means. But taking away 2 minutes off the clock makes such a huge difference. Just stalling things out in Splatoon with how short the games are absolutely changes everything.
It certainly does. You'll probably notice that Essence is going to have to go for a little bit more. It might be a little bit nervous as we start to get to the later stages of this game, and those nerves are going to start to come in a lot quicker than you're expecting because of just how long it took Catnip to get that push rolling. But now, starting to see a power claim built up. Dylan will throw down that tactic cooler there, but Scotty can't quite move forward. Now he's going to get caught out by 5th Gen, who was able to come in on a flank angle. Now it's a 2-down situation for Essence. It doesn't look like they're going to get the push they wanted here off of this one, but we'll see if trades can still go their way. No, Luna's going to take care of that one, and so looks like mid's going to go right back over to Catnip.
Scotty managing to save the power clam, having to jump out to survive the Zuka though. Zuka attempts to find one more on that plat, not going to be able to. Trip Strikes came out 5th Gen here in this crab, looking to find more picks. This should be a big push here out of Catnip. Definitely seems like they're more comfortable on this map and more comfortable with that double Zuka comp.
Get another 2 power claims in. Now a couple more on the follow-up in from Luna. Down to 21, which means that a whole 4 power clams have to go in from Essence to take this in one push, and one push might be all they get. They do have 21 clams at their disposal, but again, still have a decent bit to push up. Now, Woomy coming forward on this crab tank, already starting to wear down in time, and we start to see that swing around the corner coming through from some of these members. Scotty and Nilla both going forward. Dilla's going to get taken down, which is bad news. Woomy's going to be able to find their way forward, and Sune was trying to as well, but the push is going to fall apart. Only 2 power claims go in this time, but there might be enough time for Essence to regroup.
Definitely seems like there could be, and they've got good specials for pushing here, but Sune going down there is terrible for them. They really need Sune to be able to stay up. They really are using Sune's Trip Strike super well to get back in, and not having them ready here is going to be really rough for them. Twig looking to Shark in here, going to be able to try and apply some pressure. Looking for Nilla, might not be able to find it. Sune trying to scare them off now with that Charger's laser. 2 players have gone down. Sune going to be able to pick up that power clam. They might be trying to set up a jump with Twig behind them. Luna forced to jump out. Nilla looking to move forward on this right side. Scotty having paint to move forward with absolutely huge. And it looks like there could be another push coming out here. They don't need to rush it super hard. Sune getting that power clam in though. They don't have a ton of follow-up. They need clam spawns to be in their favor.
Overtime now, have to try to find a way to extend this push for as long as possible. They might be able to do it now as they just have 4 more claims to get in. It feels like everyone's taken off of the map. Woomy starts to come forward. Sune has to scramble to get forward, but here comes 5th Gen as well in the Stamper. Woomy immediately pops his crab tank trying to hold this position, and now only 1 more clam needs to go in. It looks like it's taken down. Sune is there, and that will be the game. Essence will steal it right away from Catnip, and will take the set 2-0, advancing to Grants.
Really great job there from Essence on not over-focusing their plat on that last push. Like, they could have over-focused defending their own basket, but it's great that they all committed to that push. They were all able to. They realized it was just Twig there. They had players that were threatening anyone that could have jumped in with a power clam, and they realized they could make that push safely in order to get them into this grand finals.
Well done by them. Hey, if Catnip had persistence earlier, Essence had plenty of persistence there at the end. You want to talk about it when everyone nearly feels like they were wiped off the map? It was 1v2 in Essence's favor, admittedly, but even still, that's a difficult situation to be in when you realize you're one of 3 players left on the map and the game is basically entirely in your hands. Pressure is on, and Essence was able to deliver at the very end. It was a long battle, but They were also able to hold off any push coming in from Catnip, able to reestablish themselves back on that preparation spot, back behind that spinner, and then finally make the push and extend it out for long enough to get the job done. Hats off to them for coming through with that one. And, hey, well fought battle both ways. That was entertaining, and that's what we come here for on Proving Grounds, is entertainment.
Absolutely. Look, Proving Grounds is a very fun tournament because a lot of very interesting teams play it, and now we're going to be going into Waddle D versus Essence, which they've both been very fast-paced, aggressive teams. I'm interested in seeing how this goes.
Yeah, I think this will be fun for sure. Especially, hey, we got Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track as a first one.
Oh, I do like Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track.
That'll be real fun to watch, especially with sometimes how much on a knife's edge the game can truly balance on this map of all things.
Yes.
Of course, this will be a best of 5, and it will be bracket reset enabled. Essence coming from the loser side. Waddle D will have to get doubly eliminated still in order to come back from this one. So, what is going on in production chat right now? Y'all, if you were in production chat, you would, like every single thing Pop Gun said would probably just be screen capable.
It's important to let everyone get to have their private place where they make entirely screen capable comments.
Yeah, that is true.
I say as I actively explained how armor class works during this stream. But I believe in that statement so thoroughly. The things I say, so many not smart things. I am a little dumb about things sometimes, just because my brain exists in 12 places at once.
Yeah, that's a mood.
Yeah. The amount of things that get threatened to get tweeted about me from my friends. In funny ways. In very funny ways, to be clear. Sometimes you're just vibing, and somebody says something that you definitely should understand and know. And you just don't know in that moment. In that moment, you have never had a thought in your life.
Yeah. I know when that happens.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's worth it.
It is kind of funny. Yeah.
Anything for the bit, really.
That's true.
Gotta commit to the bit.
That is real. Which we have done numerous times on this broadcast.
Yeah, it's the most important thing you can do.
Absolutely.
If you're not doing it for the bit, why are you doing it?
And speaking of doing things for the bit, gamble your points! Now! Don't make me get my angry Lantio voice out.
Oh, not the K-Bot Lantio voice.
Yeah, that's right. Be scared.
Uh-huh. You're so
switches
scary.
in airplane mode now. I'm just saying that for
Don't do that anymore, actually.
What do you mean, don't do that anymore?
Don't we not do that for Splatoon 3?
I mean, I don't really do that much anymore. That is correct.
No, I mean, I don't think we put them in airplane mode for lands for Splatoon 3 because it breaks the shoal or something.
But I'm saying it for the beat for JPEG to make him laugh.
That's...
I know JPEG's listening right now.
That's so valid, Game-On. I just needed to make sure that I wasn't misremembering.
See, I'm laughing, don't you worry. Yep. Nailed it. Bang.
All that matters while you commentate is actually making the streamer laugh, to be clear.
Yeah.
That's all commentators care about, is making the streamer laugh. That is the primary goal of Proving Grounds, is to see who can make the streamer laugh the most.
Yeah, that's real. And oftentimes it is not hard to make Elemental amused. I'll say it.
No, Elemental's easy to make amused. Elemental's great.
Yeah.
It's always great when the streamer lets you know they're amused. That's always peak. If I'm not funny, if I'm not doing it for the bit, I say as me and you do very, very serious commentary blocks usually. And as far as Proving Grounds go, we've been pretty serious for us.
That is true. This is pretty serious for us. At least during the actual games.
Yeah, no, I would say we were also weirdly serious for all of Shmoob's party wheel.
Well, it's easy to fall into the back and forth when there's only two of you.
That's true.
There's
And,
not, like, a
and our
third person
default,
that
the way
just-
we learn to commentate off of each other, definitely is,
Yeah.
these are serious, important games.
Yeah.
We're doing important things, which, like, I still think Proving Grounds games are important, but they're also
That's a
for
lie.
funny.
Nope,
oh,
you're not
okay.
important. Nope,
Okay. Okay.
you're not important. That's right, chat. I said it. You're not important.
I think you're important, chat. It's okay. Gameot's opinion probably holds a little more weight.
No, it does not. Are you kidding me? I don't do anything anymore. I just sit
You
up
do
here
stuff
and
in
yap
Omega
some of the time.
Strikers.
Yeah, I sit up here and yap some of the time. That's it.
It's important,
Keep
you know,
yapping.
it's so important to yap. It's
Yeah.
important that everyone knows they should just yap at all times, actually. If
Yep.
if your comms in your team aren't just constant word vomit, find a different... I can't take that. I can't finish that statement, actually. Please have actual comms. Please have clear comms.
Yeah.
I am begging. Please also make jokes, though. If you're not being funny, be funnier. If your
I'm the
team
most
doesn't break
important.
out laughing while you're playing, I don't know. Figure it out. Be funnier.
That is true. Hey, if you're not having fun, however you're doing it wrong.
It is a funny Squid Game. It is
It
full
is
of
a
bright
funny
colors.
Squid Game.
And if you don't laugh at when kind of dumb things happen, you should figure that out.
I mean, you don't have to laugh at everything. You can be competitive and have fun. Okay, that is allowed.
You can laugh
There you go.
while being competitive.
You can also laugh while being competitive.
I don't know. Sometimes if you don't laugh about it, you're gonna cry about it. And it's better to laugh about it then.
Oh, great. That is, I just wanted to hear that.
What do you
Got
mean?
the update from JPEG saying, talking about if Moo Moo Meadows was in Splatoon.
Good for them. You know what? What would
Right.
happen if we would all be mad at the map for existing, and we'd be so mad at the cows for adding in an element of RNG? There's the answer. We'd be mad at the cows.
Moo Moo Meadows, more like woo woo woomies. Am I right or am I right?
You're wrong.
Oh.
But we are getting into it here, like we were saying earlier. It is Rainmaker or on Humpback. There is no Toxic Mist. I have lost all interest.
Oh yeah. Points are right on the other machine.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. Toxic Mist, good here. Put it on elbow. Brain dead. Head empty
Yeah.
time. Throw a bomb in the Toxic Mist. Don't need to think. But they're good specials. So a little surprised to not see any Vax or anything. But definitely solid specials. Essence getting wiped out there by Azuka is unfortunate.
There it is. Zuka comes out again. Woo! Double Zuka. There we go. Gets the job done.
I mean, both teams
and-
do have at least one Zuka.
Yeah.
I
plenty
do
of
like the Neo Machine. I do, in general, like Neo Machine. I think it's neat. And definitely a good map to have a machine on. Especially having that point sensor when you're playing against a Carbon.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. I don't know if it was scouted or not. Maybe it was. But, hey, able to use that. Now, though, Waddle starts to move forward. They'll be able to take the checkpoint. Zenith starts to move even further forward. Is going to be able to find a trade. And so now 3v2. See the Snipe Rider pick this up again. Fire that shot up. And there's still plenty of space to run. There's no one guarding this right now. They have to make the readjustment, but it's down to 1 for Waddle. Fantastic push, but nobody was home for Essence. Even still, Waddle's maintaining their space around. It's a 3-down situation even still for Essence. Sune forced to pop these strikes, just trying to buy some space around this Rainmaker, and looks like it has dissuaded the members of Waddle from going even further forward. Woomy is going to dive this off just to buy a little bit of extra time, but even still, the game is severely taking a turn for Waddle's fans.
Yeah, Essence definitely not going to feel super comfortable in this situation. Not a ton they can do to break back in here. Not necessarily, I don't know. You want to know what I'd love to see here? A tent. I don't know. It's so good for moving up with on this map. You could have Vac or Zuka with it. I don't know. It's just like its kits are good. And you could also have beacons. Beacons? Good.
On this map?
Not as much on this map. No,
Yeah.
but Vac is that good on this map.
Back is good.
And
Nice shot
beacons
from
don't
Sune.
hurt to have.
Second good shot from Sune.
Yeah, Sune's so insanely good at charging. If there's anything you should take out of watching so much of the game from Sune's perspective, it's Sune does in fact hit shots. And if you're against Sune, you should respect their shots. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You don't do the thing that everyone surely does this. Don't do the thing you want to do with chargers where you go, they're not real. They won't hit me. That laser is a joke.
Yeah.
It's not a
Definitely
joke from Sune.
It is not. Claims another victim there. But even still, Essence has a decent bit to go. Zenitsuka gonna find yet another one. Milla forced to go back. That'll be Tacticooler, not available to try to get a breakout here. And now Waddle is going to actually go for the push themselves. Zenith finds one, now looking for a second, but Henry comes through with the dunk before it happens nonetheless. Waddle Dee convincingly takes game one.
Yeah, Waddle Dee definitely seemed very comfortable on that map mode. That was also the first time we'd seen Scotty switch off of Nautilus, which I'm assuming was a map adaptation because people will have pretty different picks for Humpback usually. Definitely didn't seem to work out all that well for them.
Well, plenty of time left. It is the best of 5 once again after all. So will be enough time to see some of those adaptations come out. And to your point, Humpback is just a little bit of one of those weird ones. It's one of the oddballs,
Yeah, but it's so fun.
It is fun. I think it's a classic.
I do too.
Splatoon 2 classic.
I think it should also be a Splatoon 3 classic as a treat for me.
I think it's
specifically.
fine. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know actually what opinions
What it's like to play on any of them?
Yeah. That too.
But yeah, anyway, going on to an actual Splatoon 3 classic, Zones on Hagglefish. I don't know, we could see Vanilla Splatter Scope come out here if Sune's feeling really wild. I don't know why you do that over ZF, but you could. You could decide you want to vacuum as a treat. Maybe you need to clean up the apartment. Maybe somebody's coming to visit tomorrow. You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, Zones Hagglefish. I'm not expecting to see any major changes. Once again, would love to see a tent come out here, especially for Hagglefish.
Hey, Nox.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you.
No, I'm dying on my copium. Nilla used to play tent. I'm dying on my hill.
I don't think that's happening tonight.
I can pretend. They have the gold tent badge.
Pretend.
Surely they'll play tent. Surely Nilla. Nilla, no!
When you're the Tacticooler slave, that's just what you're going to be stuck on for the night.
No. They could get Sune over to Pencil. Sune wouldn't complain. Sune has played Pencil some. Not much lately.
I'm sure.
I
feel like
have not seen them play it in a team setting, but I have seen their clips on Twitter about it, so...
If a Charger player hasn't picked up Pencil at least once...
Are you actually a Charger player?
Yeah.
Flank coming out here from Zenith, able to find the pick, immediately taken out there by Sune, though. Really, one of the really interesting things about Sune's play is they are such a forward Charger player, and they're able to hit their shots enough to make up for it.
Yeah, certainly. It has been a lot of fun to watch, but even still, you're going to want that space built up with the rest of your team. And so really like seeing positions like this come out of Bloomy, going a little bit further forward, buying some space for that Charger, now building up even more space with the Crab Tank. Immediately gets taken down off the flank angle, and now it's a 3-on situation for Essence. So it might have in theory worked there for a moment, but Essence is going to falter there, and it will be right back over to Waddle Dee, who actually almost has this down to the halfway point in terms of their timing.
Scotty doing a great job there, getting a very slow but very concise triple. Able to get yet another. They're on at least a 4-kill streak now. Really just great awareness there, playing it super smart and safe, waiting for people to poke them when they shouldn't. And now going for the cleanup on Henry, not going to get that pick, sadly. Their teammate does. I was just interested in seeing if their streak would keep going.
Doesn't quite. Now, Essence starts to move forward. Bloomy once again in this Crab Tank, starting to escort the members of Essence forward, but now the Crab Tank's going to go down. They won't have that cover, and the immediate special onslaught comes in from Waddle Dee. Will be Essence taking the lead, at least for now, and no one is going to go down quite yet, despite all of the resources going out of Waddle Dee. Henry looking to try to continue chipping away at some of the backline defenses here from Essence, and you're starting to see them back away a little bit more. Waddle Dee will find the cap on top of the zone and flip this back, but Henry dives forward right into Nilla. Looks like the Carbon Roller is going to be able to clean up, so it'll be a 2-for-1 trade there on the left side, and Waddle Dee will be able to hold on what they've got for now, but even still continuing to find a lot of these trades on top of the zone.
Yeah, definitely. Waddle Dee should be pretty comfortable right now, though. They should be able to keep the map painted, but right now it doesn't seem like they've got enough players looking at it to do that. Carbon having to go back and put some paint down, not something you see Carbon rollers have to do very often. Zuka shots coming out, able to find one on Sune, getting that trade. That is a pretty good trade to get, though. Getting Sune out of the picture, getting rid of those trip strikes is massive. Crab Tank coming out should be a lead switch, as we see the Zuka attempting to find picks, not going to quite be able to. Zenith looking to get some more paint down, getting ready for that next Crab. Crab coming out, a player jumping back to be able to move in with it. Both Crab Tanks just kind of trying to shred each other. Zenith managing to win that Crab war.
Well done there. Now has to readjust with the strikes coming out, but even still, it's 2 down for Essence. They'll be forced to back on away. Sune, though, looks like to be able to find at least one shot. Waddle Dee starting to get lower on the timer, but it doesn't matter. They'll finally find themselves in a 2-down situation. In Essence, will find the recap. Now, again, will they be able to establish themselves? We've seen them attempt to, but Sune's starting to get in a little bit of a better position. It'll all be a matter of time, but now here comes the Zuka from Henry, forcing Sune back, but even still, the response shot connects, and Essence is looking to make a push on top of the zone.
Essence doing a good job here, getting themselves set up, not overextending, not going too far forward. Crab Tank coming out, Trip Strikes coming out to help deal with it. They do lose the zone in the process. That is unfortunate. You don't want to lose the cap there. Those penalty points hurt once you're down this low on time.
Now, starting to get even closer, but there's the wipeout. Essence will be able to gain a lot of ground here in purple, and see just how far they end up moving forward. Sune actually decides not to move much further forward at all, and so we'll see whether or not this is able to pan out, because Essence doesn't overcommit for anything. Zenith now on top of the canopy in this Crab Tank, has a better position against Woomy, but the Crab Tank gets shredded and now is forced to back on away. Henry starting to dive forward, looking for a play onto Sune, and will be able to find it there. 3 down for Essence, as that was the third, and it will be the flip back for Waddle Dee. 28 seconds here left to go, and Essence has got to find a regroup rather quickly.
Huge cap there from Waddle Dee. Without that, Essence probably would have managed to get lead. Really just great job making sure they got that when they needed it. And that's all that matters in these situations, is making sure you find the recaps you need. You don't necessarily always need to score more points, you just need to keep the enemy team from doing it.
Now, just a couple seconds left to go here. Waddle Dee is going to cap the zone again. Essence doing everything in their power to try to get the paint there, but it means that Waddle Dee can just walk up and find those picks. They'll go up 2-0 in this winner's final set, and now they'll be just 1 game away from winning the tournament.
Definitely a strong fight put up there from Essence, so they put in a lot of work to attempt to get back in that zone, and they got it really close there. If they'd been able to keep Henry out just a little bit more, that probably would have been their game.
Yeah. Again, a lot of these have been relatively close. I mean, obviously, Waddle Dee had the fantastic push down to 1 early in that Rainmaker Humpback game, and then was able to find the eventual knockout there. That one was a little bit more back and forth, and you could see a little bit more of the pushing and pulling back and forth, but end of the day, Waddle Dee is just Waddle Dee able to hold on to the zone for just a little bit longer, able to find a couple more of those crucial picks here or there, and able to find those engages when they matter most, and walking away with that one there. We'll see if we can start seeing the comeback here, but even still, Waddle Dee's looked pretty good on Clan Blitz, at least so far. So we'll see what happens here for Essence, whether or not they'll be able to start swinging things back around on it.
Yeah, Inkblot Clams is definitely a very stally map to me. It is a map where you tend to see a lot of time waiting, looking for the right opening, and then either one power clam goes in or you get a KO push.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of middle ground usually in Inkblot. It is either a tiny push or a massive push, in my experience.
So, we'll see who can get to that larger push first. I mean, Essence has also proven their worth on some of those Lambs games, so see if they'll be able to pull some things together here as well, especially with that clutch on Museum.
Yeah, they did do a great job clutching Museum. Essence in general is just a team that's they don't give up when they're down in situations. So I think they're probably still able to fight pretty hard here. I'm not as worried about their mental as I am some other teams, which I don't have any valid justification for. I just, from what I have seen of their gameplay in the past and what I have experienced scrimming and playing against them, they're usually pretty good at sticking it through and just trying to make adaptations and figure out what they can do to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and it feels like they've certainly, I mean, hey, they wouldn't be vying for the potential title of Proving Grounds 28 victors, of the illustrious title that it is, without having to be at least a little bit adaptive, and it looks like they are doing just that here with the Rapid Deco coming out. Inkjet Torpedo out of Sune, ditching the Charger altogether.
You know, sometimes Charger isn't working. Sometimes Charger isn't what you like on a map. I can see why you wouldn't necessarily like Charger as much on this map. And I think Rapid still fits really well in their comp here. I think it allows them to play a little more aggro if they want to. I don't think they're playing off of it. I don't necessarily think they're going to play off of it as well as the Charger, just because they're not as used to it. And Sune is getting rushed down there, taking advantage of that tag dueler to be able to jump out.
Good to jump out, and there's that one small push that you were mentioning earlier, as one power of them goes in for Waddle, but not much more follows up off of it. See if they're able to regroup here. If they're able to hold on to mid for quite some time, but Zealand is trying to challenge Sune, who backed up quite beautifully to find that direct, and now is looking to buy some space with this Inkjet. Can't quite find a connection, and now the jump might be getting camped. Looks like, though, the Carbon Roller play was able to get taken down in the process. Able to start opening up some of the map here for Essence as Gloomy might be looking for the flank angle, but will get immediately spotted out by this Snipe Rider, and will start to be moving forward. Waddle looking for yet another push. Zenith on top here with the Crab Tank. Again, trying to buy some space, but can't fully seem to find a decent enough crack to shove themselves in into the armor here of Essence. Waddle goes 3 down now, and it'll hold.
Yeah, it seems like they should be able to get some forward momentum here. They have enough claims to make a power. Power should go in. Will it be a big push? Hopefully, but I doubt it. They just need to find one more to get lead. Lead doesn't mean a ton in this situation. Nilla staying up here is absolutely huge. They need to get one more in to try and keep this push alive. Able to find it. Able to get, a handful of clams in. Not a lot. They all get cleaned up, and this is going to be one of those Inkblot clams games where it's just chipping away at who gets the lead. It'll come down to who gets the final push, most likely.
Back and forth and back and forth. I mean, is it as bad as Turf War thoughts? Obviously, I'm joking.
That's fair. This I do happen to be particularly against. I find this map particularly unenjoyable for Clanwoods to play. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy commentating it. I just do not enjoy playing it.
That's fair. You see
Nilla
the push
finding
attempting to
good
be
there.
made there. Doesn't quite come through the way they wanted it to, but Power Clam will get found eventually, and now starting to rush down that last Power Clam who was probably trying to just escape for a moment. It'll be a lead exchange, but again, 70-74 here, as we're just about 2 minutes left to go in this game. And we're about to see another push forward from Essence. Sune up in the air with the Inkjet, looking to try to take care of this Crab Tank, with the Carbon Roller player. Going to come up, shut this push down nearly completely, and Moomy doesn't really have an angle to approach on this ramp side. There's the cooler going down, but it feels like too little too late for this push to really develop for Essence.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely aren't giving it up. They're still trying to find the space, but they're having to use so many specials and so many resources to try and commit to it that it just isn't going to be the most beneficial for them to do that. It's almost would have been better for them to just back up, keep space in mid, and just kind of wait for the next opportunity.
70-74. Clam economy about equal here, despite there being one Power Clam on the floor for Essence. They'll have the ability to go back and pick that up. Leave Pity Clam, so it won't despawn, but Sune back up in the air here, looking for even more luck. You don't have a lot of clams at your disposal right now, Essence, yet they're still trying to force this issue. Looks like they'll be able to find a 2-for-2 trade, but it won't be enough to really open things up. And how that Power Claim going to despawn. Essence not able to find capitalizations here. Waddle still holding underneath their barrier, but again, only one Power Claim needs to go in.
Yeah, it's definitely not the hardest push to make. I'm curious to see if they can coax Waddle Dee into mid enough for somebody to take that far left flank and get a jump in that way. That's definitely something that can work pretty well in these situations if you can coax them in. Inkjet coming out yet again. Probably not going to find too much value here. Trades coming out. Nilla attempting to rush in with the Clam. Scotty trying to find this pick. Not going to be able to. Seems like Sune is going to have to back off just to make sure they have a power clam to get this overtime option. Nilla looking to find the pick on Zenith here. Zenith trying to rush down. Sune does go down to that Rapid Blaster. Nilla getting close to a power, just needs one to form it. And they will be able to, so there probably will be an overtime here. They just need to get the one clam in, like we mentioned. Scotty gonna be able to take advantage of the rain to start moving forward, shredding the crab. That's absolutely massive, but the power clam did get dropped in the process. They don't have a lot to work with. And the Inkjet's looking to find the pick and not gonna quite be able to.
Overtime still online. Have to go back and collect it here for overtime to stay online. And indeed, Essence will be able to keep it alive. Will they be able to find the push forward? Dilla starts to go in, but Henry's able to find that pick. Sune trying to provide a little bit of chip damage support. But even still, Waddle is able to hold off the members approaching on that ramp. Lumi starts to go forward. Again, we'll pick up the power play to reset it for a moment, but it won't be enough. Waddle Dee will hold a 4-point lead for what feels like an eternity to become your Proving Grounds 28 victories.
Great jump to Waddle Dee. Definitely one of those maps that gets very stall heavy. Really great job playing that stall well from Waddle Dee.
Yeah. Hats off to them. Hats off to the fist bump coming through for that last game. Zenith and Fart Blast 2.
Yep.
Now cement yourself in the Hall of Fame of Proving Grounds winners. Fart Blast 2.
Yep.
There you go.
Great
folks.
showing from Essence too. I know the 3-0 doesn't really represent how close those games were.
Yeah. Especially the last one, right? I mean,
yes.
It was sitting there for so long.
Just so long. If Essence had just found one or two more picks at the end there, that would have been their game.
Well,
or just managed to brute force any extra space.
We don't have any other like nerdy stuff we have to fit into this broadcast, do we? Did you
don't
have
think
a Green
so.
Day pun? I don't even know if.
No, I didn't have any
Green Day
puns.
thing.
It's just 90%. I'm still listening to the album. It's just 90% of what I'm thinking about. Green Day put out a new album, in case everyone didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't until just now, so.
Well, it's all I've listened to today, and probably will be for the next couple weeks.
Well, there you go. So if you want to know where to find Nox,
yeah, sitting at my
find
desk, listening to Green Day and playing Baldur's Gate.
yeah. And if you want to know where you can find me on an Omega Strikers stream tomorrow for a little bit. It'll be much less than normal because I am casting for 2 hours and then going to go celebrate my birthday.
Whoa, you're actually not going to commentate for 6 hours straight for Omega Strikers?
Well, I don't normally commentate for 6 hours straight. I don't really do the hosting of the analyst desk.
Okay.
No, commentating Omega Strikers for 6 hours straight sounds like perk.
Unpleasant.
Yeah, I'm good. Folks, I think that's going to do it for us here at IPL. It's Low Ink Week, right? So
yes.
you all should tune into that, I guess. We'll be back here tomorrow, I assume. I don't know what time it is, but tune in. You all probably know
1 p.m.
than I do. Yeah, 1 p.m. Thanks.
1 p.m. EST.
Popgun is listed. Thank you, JPEG. Thank you, Siren. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Popgun, and the rest of the IPL crew for hosting the event. And congratulations once more to Waddle, Proving Ground 28 champs. Nox, we got anything else for the crew?
I don't think so. I think that's it. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you all for tuning in. Have a good night.